The episode begins with a sweeping view of numerous warships flying through space. Inside one of the ships, a girl announces that a wormhole is opening. Their commander hears this and is utterly shocked. Suddenly, an intensely bright light appears before them, sending the commander into a panic as he exclaims, "It's the Black Mecha Count Liam the Reaper." The commander and his crew are terrified at the possibility of an entire fleet emerging before them. Realizing there's only one mecha present, the commander orders all ships to open fire. The Black Mecha activates its power and advances toward them, effortlessly dodging every attack. It heads straight for the main ship's control room and destroys it in a single strike. Two other mecha pilots attempt to stop it, but the Black Mecha evades their attacks and engages them in combat. It fights alone against a large number of mecha with ease, far surpassing them in skill. As time passes, more ships and mecha arrive, but the Black Mecha halts them, obliterating the flagship and triggering a massive explosion that wipes out all surrounding mecha. Standing at a distance, the Black Mecha watches the destruction and bursts into laughter, taunting, "You're all so weak, but this is entertaining." Suddenly, a hologram of a girl appears, revealing that the Black Mecha's pilot is named Liam. He says, "Akame, your calculations were perfect. The wormhole opened exactly where it should have. I was right to leave these matters to you. Now, show me the true power of the mecha." We then see Liam's massive fleet, managed by Akame, as he tells her how much he's enjoying himself, but it's time to move to the next phase. Akame begins executing his orders. Next, we meet Liam's mecha team, led by a female pilot named Christina. Akame informs Christina to prepare for another wormhole opening. Christina confirms she's ready and will do her best to support Liam. Another wormhole opens, and Christina advances with her mecha. She soon arrives at the battlefield where Liam had been fighting the previous fleet. Liam's fleet joins the fray, and Christina engages the second wave of mecha, defeating them effortlessly while visibly excited. Liam warns her to be cautious, but Christina finds herself surrounded. Just then, Liam arrives to assist, destroying all nearby mecha. Akame orders the entire fleet to fire, and their combined attack annihilates the enemy fleet completely. Liam laughs and boasts, "See, I'm the evil count, I can do anything. These ships are incredible." Another hologram appears, this time of a girl named Carlin, who informs Liam that these ships were manufactured at their 7th weapons factory. Liam acknowledges this, but, still mid-battle, tells her to leave. Carlin refuses, teasing, "If you like these ships, you can order 100 or 200 more." To get rid of her, Liam requests 200 ships, making Carlin ecstatic before she finally leaves. Liam is pleased, eager to wreak even more havoc. Soon, multiple wormholes open, unleashing more mecha. The remaining ships attempt to fight, but Liam is thrilled at the prospect of easily destroying them all. The mecha unleash a synchronized barrage, decimating the remaining fleet. Another wormhole opens above Liam, and a massive cannon emerges. As he takes aim, he reflects on how dull his past life had been. We see him talking to someone named Nita, who sent him a video of a mecha standing on a train as he commuted home. His job was grueling. He worked tirelessly to support his family. Arriving home, his wife Mika greets him, mentioning that their daughter Kanami needs a boat. Kamazaki, Liam's civilian identity, says he'll think about it during his next vacation. He checks on Kanami, who's asleep with a stuffed dog, filling him with joy. Later, he buys her a real dog, reminiscing about his childhood pet and how much he still misses it. Mika smiles and teases that Kanami's new dog means Kama will have to work even harder, but he remains happy seeing his family content. The next day, he rushes to his office, where his boss yells at him for being unresponsive. Kama explains he tried calling, but his boss only grows angrier. Returning to his desk, a coworker calls him an idiot for not knowing the boss plays golf every Friday. Kama endures the miserable day but returns home, determined to endure it all for his family. He watches Kanami sleep, and Mika reheats dinner for him. Later, Mika mentions enrolling Kanami in a new sports club. While meeting a client, Kama receives another message from Nita about a new mecha model, briefly lifting his spirits. But then he spots Mika sitting at a cafe with another man. He thinks Mika was supposed to take Kanami to the club. Hiding, he wonders, who is this guy? Back home, Kanami and Mika are on the couch. When Mika leaves to get food, Kama asks about Kanami's sports class. Mika says Kanami won her match. Kama plays with his daughter, overwhelmed with love, but he hesitates to confront Mika about the man. Later, Kama works at his computer, which fails to go into sleep mode. A coworker tells him to shut it down properly. On another client visit, he's relieved Mika isn't at the cafe until he hears her talking to the same man on the phone. And then, Kanami ran to grab the man's hand, calling him daddy. Kamazaki was completely astonished by this. Stunned, Kama replays the events in his mind, trying to convince himself Kanami was just playing a game. Suddenly, his boss snaps, "Why are you wasting time?" Kama explains his computer is slow, then resumes work. But Mika calls Kanami was in an accident. At the hospital, the doctor says she's fine but needs blood. When asked their blood types, Kama says he's AB and Mika is O. The doctor asks Mika to donate, leaving Kama confused. Kanami's blood type should be A or B. At home, Kama confronts Mika about the man. At that point, Mika began to talk and refused to answer. And as Kamazaki got angry and yelled that Kanami was his daughter, Mika said that he actually misunderstood, and he had no right to ask because you always busy and doesn't give us time. Kamazaki replied that this was because of his job, but Mika said his job was pointless because he received a meager salary and a little bonus, even though he promised her when they got married to make her happy. Kamazaki responded that he's putting in all his effort for his family, but Mika showed that nothing would change. Konami sits reading magazines as Mika declares she wants a divorce. Devastated, Kama tries to stop her from taking Konami, but his daughter says she prefers her other papa. Kama collapses in despair. Back at work, his boss accuses him of transferring 50 million yen to a random account. Kama denies it, but the transfer was made from his computer left unlocked because it wouldn't sleep. He realizes his boss framed him, and the whole office knew. Fired, Kama loses everything: his job, his family, and now owes massive debts. Working multiple part-time jobs, he gets another message from Nita about a mecha release but is too depressed to reply. The next day, he coughs up blood, realizing how hopeless his situation is. Then, a bright light surrounds him. Thinking death has come, he instead sees proof his boss stole the money. He spots Mika drinking expensive wine with his former boss. They're happily together, and Mika gloats about leaving him. Kama sobs, "Did you ruin my life for this?" As he burns with vengeance, a man appears, a guide offering help, but the guide feeds on negative emotions and savors Kama's despair. "Your suffering is delicious," he says, "but don't worry, I'll give you something special." Kamazak didn't understand what was being said. Then, the guide pulled out a bag and showed him various posters representing different worlds where he could reincarnate. He asked Kamazak which world he'd prefer, whether it was a fantasy world with magic, the era of samurai, the Wild West with cowboys, or even the age of dinosaurs. As he looked at all these worlds, he noticed another one that spoke of mechatronics and spaceships. Kamazak chose that world, and the guide said it was a clean world filled with nobles and kings ruling the galaxies. Kamazak thought he'd always loved mechatronics and had talked about them with Nita. Now, he could go to that world. He signed the contract the guide gave him, and his eyes began to close as the guide disappeared. A bright light emitted from his house, lifting him into the sky. Then, we return to the present, where a battle was still raging. Liam was fighting exceptionally well, ending the battle with a final shot, securing his victory. He was overjoyed, declaring that no one could surpass him in this world. His fleet arrived with a wormhole, and Liam boarded his flagship. Then, we saw the light in the sky vanish as Kamazak was revived in another world, determined to rule it with an iron fist. Meanwhile, Liam lay on a rooftop before standing up, realizing he was a noble in this world. His family ruled a planet. He remembered its name, Hydra. He returned home, entering a slightly different house, his actual home. As Liam arrived, everyone wished him a happy birthday. His mother told him she had a wonderful gift for him, then used magic and began to leave, with Liam following. They had prepared a large cake and a massive gift. Liam was thrilled until he saw only a remote control. His mother explained that with this device, he could choose a maid for himself. When Liam pressed the button, a screen appeared showing different types of eyes. He asked his mother about it, and she told him he could customize his maid as he wished. Surprised but intrigued, Liam made his selections and submitted the order. At that moment, his father arrived and told Liam his birthday gift was the title of Count Benefield. Liam was shocked. He was only 5 years old, but his father assured him he could easily inherit the title and live comfortably. However, he'd have to send them money every month. His mother added that this arrangement would let him live independently. Liam agreed, thinking it was best for him. His father summoned a servant who brought a contract. Liam signed it, making his father ecstatic. "From today, you are a count. Your mother and I will stay at our house in the capital," he said before leaving. Liam watched them go, inwardly thrilled that he now had control over everything here. He thought he should thank the guide for this opportunity. The scene shifted back to Kamazak's lifeless body, completely devoid of a soul. The guide rejoiced, saying, "He'll never realize he fell into my trap. I'll keep feeding off his negative emotions." Then, he considered finishing the remaining work. Elsewhere, Mika spoke with her boss. Kamazak's boss expressed guilt over what happened, but Mika didn't care. She was only happy for herself. She asked what they should do next. The boss suggested they could marry soon, but the guide suddenly appeared, enraged. Several people arrived to arrest Kamazak's boss after discovering they had deceived him. The boss panicked, insisting it was a misunderstanding, but they restrained and took him away. Mika tried to stop them, but it was useless. The guide said, "This is your generosity. Now you can't do anything. The one who truly loved you is dead." Mika sat on the ground in shock. The guide reflected that people in the other world had long lifespans, so she would suffer there, feeding him more negative emotions without ever realizing it. As he prepared to leave, the spirit of a dog appeared, staring at Kamazak before exiting through the door. Another battle unfolded in the other world. Two pirates discussed looting everything. They had a powerful mecha named Blunder, fighting against a white mecha. The clashes were intense. When the pirate leader declared victory, another dangerous mecha appeared, single-handedly defeating a group of them. It turned out the white mecha was led by Christina, a night before meeting Liam. A doll lay inside a box. When Liam saw it, he was overjoyed. It was exactly the maid he had requested. He asked the servant how to open it, unaware that maids were delivered this way. The servant explained he just needed to place his hand on a packaging was for security. Liam did so, and the box vanished instantly, revealing the maid. She opened her eyes looking at Liam, who stared back. She introduced herself as Amani, greeting him sweetly. Liam felt slightly nervous as the servant tried to explain more, but he ignored him, inspecting the doll's features before taking Amani with him. The servant tried to stop him, but Liam shut the door in his face. That night, Amani gave Liam a massage, making him happy. The servant warned against relying too much on AI intelligence, which confused Liam. He asked Amani if she could harm him, and she replied she couldn't, was her master. This delighted him. As she massaged him again, the servant mentioned this was due to the Empire's distrust of AI. Liam found this puzzling and asked for an explanation. The servant said AI had once controlled all machines, leading to a great war where humanity nearly lost. Only a rebellion saved them, establishing the Empire. Liam asked why his mother gave him an AI maid. The servant hesitated, but Liam demanded an answer as his master. The servant revealed the Benefield family was drowning in Death's grandfather, and father had spent recklessly. Shocked, Liam asked if his parents had trapped him in debt. The servant confirmed they had little control here. Most assets went to creditors. Amani stood silently, watching. Liam looked out the window, seeing nothing good. In a bar, someone mentioned their new lord was only 5. An old man scowled, saying new lords always raise taxes. A woman warned them to be careful, someone might hear. Liam realized this planet had nothing useful. He couldn't repay his debts here. He'd been deceived again, this time by his parents. He remembered how his wife had betrayed him in his past life. But then he looked at Amani and said, "The Empire hates AI, and like me, no one cares about you. Let's stay together as partners." The servant tried to stop him, but Liam ignored him, declaring he'd escaped debt and led with Amani's support. He gave Amani 3 unbreakable commands: always protect him, help him rule this world, and remain loyal. She agreed. Liam admitted he was clueless about ruling, but Amani suggested using a time capsule for knowledge. The servant objected AI shouldn't govern, but Liam insisted. The servant worried the sages would punish them, but Liam argued the laws allowed limited AI use. Liam entered the time capsule with Amani. She told him he gained 10 years of knowledge in 6 months. He asked if she had emotions. She said her AI helped her understand some, but she didn't think she truly felt them. Yet when Liam asked her to stay with him, her processor overloaded. Embarrassed, Liam noted this before sleeping in the capsule. Amani promised to wait for him. We see the guide speaking, saying, "I am the guide and my job is to collect negative emotions." Negative emotions can be of any kind. For example, if someone goes to eat at a restaurant and suddenly their chopsticks break, their anger would be a negative emotion, and that negative emotion is the guide's food. We watch as Liam exits the education capsule. As soon as he steps out, he speaks to Amagi, asking, "Finally, how long was I in the capsule?" Amagi tells him it's been nearly 2 years, but Liam feels strange because he didn't sense the passage of time, but it doesn't matter. After that, Amagi shows him how the country has improved in his absence, and he's pleased, which leads him to praise her, something Amagi enjoys. Later, Liam decides to inspect his territory. First, Amagi takes him to the spaceport, where satellites are launched, and she also tells him about the moving points of light in space. She wishes she could show these things to Naya, but there's nothing they can do about it. Then Liam says, "I wish I could pilot that." Amagi replies, "Do you really want to pilot it?" Liam answers, "Yes, I'd have a dream to do it." Amagi says, "I can arrange that." She then takes Liam inside a mobile suit. There are basic instructions stating that it operates normally, but if a special maneuver is needed, he should think about it with the help of the magic in his mind and execute it. Liam starts experimenting and takes the mobile suit out, but he tries to learn to walk before running. Amagi stops him. Liam asks, "Are there weapons in this mobile suit?" She prevents him from accessing them, as it could be too dangerous for him. But Liam insists, "I need to fight at least once to try it out." Hearing this, Amagi arranges an opponent for him, Captain Machete, who comes to teach Liam how to fight. Liam tells Machete, "Get ready," and Machete replies that they're both ready to fight. They charge at each other, and when Liam attacks, Machete says, "Oh man, I lost." This angers Liam greatly, and he says, "I'm not a child. If you're playing with me because you think I'm a kid, don't." They agree to attack again, but Machete knocks Liam to the ground instantly, before he can even think. Liam realizes fighting is much harder than a video game. Later, Liam asks his servant for a teacher to train him in combat. The servant refuses, saying fighting isn't right for him. But Liam insists, "I need to be stronger, and knowing how to fight is essential for that." Liam thinks about what he needs to dominate people and make them fear him. Then Amagi arrives and calls someone named Yashushi, who says he came after Liam contacted him. Liam seems like someone from ancient times. Yashushi asks, "Are you the one I'm supposed to teach?" Liam steps forward, saying, "Yes, I'm Liam, 7 realms." He adds that he wanted to learn from the best. Yashushi begins, "My boy, the word best has no definition. As long as you're in this race, victory or defeat can judge you at any moment. Don't try to be the best, just be good." Amagi listens and remarks, "This boy doesn't seem right. It's like he's waiting for something." Liam replies, "What we should call him is a good person. The emptier things are, the stronger a person becomes." Then Liam asks Yashushi, "Can you show us a bit of your skills?" Yashushi takes them to the jungle. He demonstrates his techniques, saying he won't repeat the move he's about to use. It's a secret. Liam says, "We don't need that. Just record it, Amagi." Yashushi performs the technique and bamboo pieces shatter around them. Liam is impressed and asks Amagi how they did it. She says it doesn't seem like they did anything, but Liam thinks Yashushi was just too fast for her to notice. Then Liam says, "Master, let us become your students." Yashushi hears this and replies, "Of course, I'll make you my student." The atmosphere shifts slightly, and a night scene appears. Yashushi returns to the same spot and says, "Oh god, how stupid is this kid? I tricked him and he fell for it." We see Princess Christina, whose assistant informs her they're near the pirate ship. Christina says, "Contact them." They communicate and Captain Gaz appears, saying, "My lady, my name is Gaz." Christina replies, "I am the second princess of the kingdom of Lipa, Christina." Gaz begins talking to Christina. "Why have you come here?" Are you afraid? Christina responds, fear isn't in my dictionary, but if something happens to me, I'll be injured in seconds. She shows them the warships and mobile suits surrounding them. Gaz says, well, you're right, but let me correct you because all these ships and mobile suits here were summoned by me. Soldiers start moving around them, and Gaz adds, so don't expect them to stay alive. They might not even let you live. He continues, saying he's invested too much money into this and can't stop now. We see Liam training hard with Yashushi. Suddenly Liam asks, Master, can I enter your space? Yashushi is startled but lets him in. Liam says, Master, I just want to know how to learn that special technique you showed earlier, the flash. Yashushi replies, no, I agreed to teach you on one condition. I demonstrate my secret technique only once. If you don't accept my terms, you won't be my student. Liam grows anxious and says, Master, please forgive me. I won't do it again. Yashushi says, fine, I'll agree. Liam leaves and Yashushi mutters, oh god, that boy is dumb. Liam returns again and says, Master, I feel my apology wasn't enough. I should give you a grand gift because you're a great man. Though hesitant, Yashushi says, fine, I'll accept. Later, Liam comes back once more and asks, Master, can I be here tomorrow for something very important? Yashushi sighs, all right, go take your break. As Liam leaves, Yashushi takes a deep breath. Next, we see Princess Christina captured. Gaz says, Princess, the prince is too weak. Christina asks, what will you do with me now? He replies, you're my winning card. I won't use you like this. I'll wipe out an entire continent. Then he launches a fleet of spaceships to bombard below. We return to Liam, who says he trained all night but still couldn't master the technique. Suddenly, Amigi appears and starts showing the state of their country, saying things are improving. Liam praises her, but Amigi apologizes. Sorry, sir. I had some difficulties meeting your expectations. Liam asks, where were we stuck? She replies, in luxury. Liam asks, what's the real reason? Amigi says, the investments we made aren't yielding much. We're almost at a loss. Liam examines the situation, understands the problem, and tells Amigi to summon the person responsible. The man arrives the next morning and starts boasting, but Liam cuts him off. I don't want to hear that. I think you're playing games with me and one of your friends. The man says, sir, you're a child. I realize you might struggle with reading and writing. Let me help you. Liam snaps, I'm not a child. Let's make that clear first. Just like the girl was small, logically, she wasn't. The man starts to get nervous. Liam asks, if costs are high, why not change suppliers? The man replies, can't they cooperate well with us and provide whatever we need? He adds, unless you do something, how can you know if you'll succeed or fail? Liam ponders this and says, well, there are good people and bad people, so I want to be a bad person, commit crimes, and not get caught. Suddenly, Amigi appears and says, this man is already under investigation. The man protests, sir, I didn't do anything. My assistant did it. Amigi says, sir, he's right. His assistant disappeared after taking the money. Liam feels this story is familiar and remembers his brother was killed and buried somewhere. Recently, the drama has drawn everyone's attention. Liam confronts the man directly. Tell me honest, did you kill your assistant? Hearing this, the man gets angry and says, sir, who do you believe? An AI's intelligence destroyed humanity. Liam retorts, that wasn't my question. Let me ask again, did you enjoy killing him? Do you feel at peace after murdering someone while talking about another crime? Now terrified, the man stammers, sir, I didn't do anything. Don't believe ghosts. Liam draws his sword and Amigi tries to stop him. The man pleads, before you kill me, listen, all this luxury you live in now is thanks to us. We take money from people like you to stay alive. A small man only becomes big by stepping on others. Liam beheads him and says, don't dirty my name with your filthy mouth. He continues, the people you hurt are human too, and the money you use is mine. Anyone who touches my money or my people's money won't live. He adds, every corrupt person must die. Amigi says, sir, he's dead. You can put your sword away. When Liam realizes this, he's terrified and can't let go of the sword, so Amigi removes it with her hand. She adds, if this information leaks, there'll be big trouble. Liam asks, what should I do? Amigi replies, you don't need to be as strong as me. You can make many dolls like me. Liam asks, how many? She says, 30 more units. Liam says, do what you want and take care of that man too. Later, we see the same place where everyone is talking. A new person arrives. She's very smart and doesn't let anyone cheat with money. Business is going well. Hearing this, a man gets angry and says Liam is just a 10-year-old boy, so they shouldn't expect much. Another person says, 5 or 10, it doesn't matter. The next day, Liam returns to operate the mobile suit at night. Before he begins, his teacher arrives and says, my boy, if you receive a gift, it doesn't mean you own it. First, you must be worthy of it, then start from the beginning. Liam asks, what should I do, Captain? The captain replies, it means you should use your great-grandfather's suit. Liam says, yes, he had a suit, but we know nothing about it. Peace be upon you. I can't do any more. Yasushi said while looking for something valuable, there's nothing useful here. This kid is getting stronger and more skilled quickly, and he's diligent. Once his training is done, I'll lose the goose that lays golden eggs. I need to buy time and give him impossible tasks to delay him. As he leaned against the door, it opened to reveal a mobile suit behind him. He was surprised by its size and said, it's a piece of junk, but I can use this. Next, we move on to Giatti, he said. He's a wandering being that collects negative emotions. After that, we go to Planet Cafe. An employee asked the man what he wanted. The man told her, I want a Quater Venti, but with some extras, and he told her while rapping, The employee said, okay, and reviewed his order again. Then, she presented the order to him. The man told her, of course, this is it, but it has some additions. When he opened the order, he was greatly shocked. Then Giatti came to him and said, this is a wonderful negative feeling. It's delicious. Let's move on to Liam. He was training with Brian. Brian asked Liam, is the mobile suit Avid repairable? Liam told him, it's Master Yasushi's instructions and he will use it in his training. Brian told him, this was your great-grandfather, Mr. Alistair's favorite unit, so I'm glad to see you appreciate it. But wouldn't a more modern unit be more suitable for training? Liam said, being a real pilot means being able to handle an old unit that is difficult to control. Brian replied, I see. Is there any benefit to this training? I think it's a waste of time. Liam told him, it's not a waste of time. It's mastering the secret art of the Flash. Liam remembered Yasushi when he cut down the tree. Liam tried to do this afterwards, but he failed to cut the tree. Let's move on to Amagi. After she went to Avid, she asked, is Yasushi a skilled trainer? She searched and said, it doesn't matter. Since the request came from Liam, I must carry it out. She approached Avid and said to it, I will revive you, and I want you to protect Liam's life. Let's move on to the 7th weapons factory. Nias introduced herself to Liam, stating that she was there to serve the mobile suit. Liam told her, I'm pleased to meet you. Nias asked Liam, could that woman be an android that works with artificial intelligence? Liam asked her, is there a problem? I know the Empire hates artificial intelligence, but it doesn't ban it. Then Nias approached Amagi and asked, is this a Tyrell Nexus F6 or a Rochez Souls Q5? She said, this is great. It's fully customized. She told him that it was the first time she had seen an android working with artificial intelligence and began examining it, which made Liam very angry. Then they moved on to Avid. Nias told Liam, please make this unit able to fight again. Nias told Liam, I think this thing is done for, and buying a new model would be better and cheaper than trying to fix it. Liam told her, don't force me to buy your stagnant goods, and told her that he wanted Vid to be serviced immediately so that he could pilot it. Nias told him that battles are mainly fought with 14 and 18 meter models now, and no one pilots old 24 meter models like this. She told him that there are no spare parts for it, and it would cost a lot to repair it. Liam told her that he didn't care and told her to change the old parts and replace them with new parts with the best specifications. He asked her to keep the manual controls and remove all assistance functions, and that he wanted it to be perfect, and that he didn't care how much it would cost him. Nias told him, then let me take on this task. Liam told her, then I'm counting on you. He also asked her to add a finishing move and asked her if all robots have a finishing move, right? Like a rocket punch. Nias asked, what is that? Liam told her, you're an expert and you don't know? It's a punch that flies with rockets. Then Yasushi came to them and said, let's see how Avid will be repaired. When he saw Nias, he was impressed with her and approached her to talk to her. Every time he wanted to talk to her, she didn't care and continued talking to Liam, which made Yasushi very annoyed. Then Yasushi saw that Liam was approaching Nias and started joking with her. He said, I won't have mercy on him. Then they moved on to training. He threw many balls at him while Liam was putting a blindfold on. Yasushi told him, you won't become a real warrior until you can handle this amount. Liam told him, but I can't see. He told him that the sword was very heavy and he couldn't maintain his balance. Yasushi told him, don't rely on your eyes, but look with your mind, with your soul, and defend with the strength of your heart until you get rid of your physical limitations. He fired the balls at him again and asked him not to think and just feel. When Liam tried to feel, he received another ball in his face. Yasushi continued to throw balls at him while he was happy. Let's move on to space. A ship appeared in space, and its captain was a man named Guaz, who was holding a group of girls, including Princess Christina. He asked her to come with him. Christina asked Guaz, where are you planning to take me? Guaz told her, to my island, the island of treasure. He approached her and told her that she was beautiful, and the more beautiful she was, the more excited he became. Christina asked Guaz what he was planning. Guaz grabbed Christina, who was tied up, and told her that he would add her to his collection. Then Guaz took the princess to his laboratory and asked the doctor about his pet. The doctor told him, it's here. He revealed the animal, but it had died. He apologized to Guaz and told him that it had been alive a few moments ago. Guaz told him, then get rid of it. He told him, this is my pet, so what should we start with first? The doctor told him, what about cutting off the leg? This frightened Christina, and she was magnetically pulled. Guaz told the doctor to first remove one eye and implant the eyeball in her hand, and make her able to enjoy looking at herself. Then she can watch herself become uglier like my other pets. When Christina looked at them, she felt very scared, which made them laugh. After that, we move on to the bar, and the waitress's friend and the old man entered. The waitress asked the man, what do you want? He said to her, the usual. The old man asked the man, how's the new job? The man told him, it's a big problem, and it's going too smoothly, so I'm very busy. The tavern waitress said to the man, it's good that you have a job. The man said, nevertheless, is it possible for the place to develop this much just by changing the owner? The old man said, I heard things were better than they are now when my grandfather was alive. The waitress said, I hope we go back to those days. The man said to her, of course, I want that. After that, we move on to Avid HQ. Liam said to Nias, well done and I commend you. Brian said, I see that Mr. Alistair's unit is working once again, and this takes me back to our glory days. Nia said to Liam that she would explain the controls to him. Liam got inside Avid and said that it was spacious. Nia said, the space has been expanded with spatial magic, and the seat also uses luxurious materials. She told him that she would start the engine and told him that she had now made a photostatic copy of him and identified his hobby as a pilot, and no one could operate it now except him, and it had become his personal unit now. Liam said that he liked that sound and tried to take off with it, but it didn't take off, and he asked what had happened. Nias told him that it had flipped because this unit doesn't have any automatic stabilizers or other auxiliary functions, so it's difficult to drive, but when you can control it, it will be better than any other unit. He said to her, okay, and began to control it, and began to move it as well, which made Brian cry because he remembered Alistair, Liam's grandfather, when he was driving Avid. Nia said to Avid, you're good for your first time. Liam told her that he had trained well in the simulator for this day as well. Nia said to Liam that imagination is very important for controlling this unit, and pressed the button and asked him to imagine. After that, Liam moved to training again, and Amagi was with him. Liam tried to cut the tree again, but he couldn't do it, and said, it's no use. It seems I can't understand the secret art of the Flash style. Amagi handed the towel to Liam, and Liam said, what should I do? I can't even see my way forward, and maybe I don't have any talent. Amagi said to Liam, I am artificial intelligence, so I can't measure concepts like talent, but I don't think you lack anything, sir, and I think the problem is in Yushashi's teaching. Liam asked, is the problem in Yushashi teaching me? Amagi said to him, of course, and there is a problem with your excessive belief in this man. He said to her, I understand, you're telling me that I don't believe in Master Yushashi enough, so I misunderstand his instructions? She said to him, I don't mean that. He said to her, if there is magic in this world, and if a phenomenon is physically impossible, then that means magic is working, isn't it? And the sword is only a tool to help with imagination, just like driving a mobile knight. It is not the sword that actually cuts the opponent with magic, but rather that you wave the sword with the intention of cutting with magic. He trained on it more than once until he succeeded in cutting the tree. After that, Liam joined Yushashi and told him that he was ready. After that, he used his sword and succeeded in cutting the tree, which greatly astonished Yushashi. Liam asked the teacher, did you see that? The teacher said to him, of course. Liam asked the teacher again, have I succeeded now? The teacher said to himself, forget about success, because if you can cut things that cannot be cut, then you are the winner. Yushashi said to Liam, you have done well in keeping up with my teachings, but there is a long way to go to reach its true essence. He told him to continue honing his skills without becoming arrogant and left. Liam said to him, of course. While Yushashi was moving, he asked himself, what's with this kid? It's unbelievable, and it's infuriating that he cut the tree without using his sword. After that, we move on to Liam's house, and he is receiving information about the presence of pirates on the only part of the Banfield territory, which is on the resource planet Mikai. Amagi said that the environment is bad and mining is difficult, so it was left to its own devices, but I created a facility on it to generate profit. Liam was told that the pirates are targeting that facility and have dropped flying knights, and the army is resisting, but no one knows how long they will hold out. Liam asked Amagi, what is their strategy? She said to him, you must approach the blind spot of the planet opposite the mining facility and use the horizon as a shield for attack while descending using air brakes while rotating by gravity to surprise them from directly above. Liam said, okay, that's good, and asked all the ships to prepare for battle, and also asked them to seize the pirate ships, and that he would go with them to defend the facility. Brian said to Liam, you shouldn't go fight the pirates yourself. Liam told him to be quiet and told him that he would not forgive anyone who laid hands on his property, and that it was time to show Master Yushashi's skills. The ships prepared, and Liam merged with Avid. Amagi said to Liam that they were ready to launch. He said to her, good, launch me. After that, Liam launched while inside Avid and attacked from behind one of the pirates and eliminated him. After that, the rest of the pirates directed their strikes at Liam, but nothing hit him because he disappeared and then suddenly appeared to them and destroyed another pirate. After that, the pirates dispersed, but Liam did not stop destroying them. Two came from behind Liam, but he used his sword and eliminated them. After that, shots were fired at Liam, but Liam showed the gun and aimed at them, which caused one of them to explode. After that, he fired several shots at them, which caused them to explode. When the pirates gathered in front of Liam, Liam used the flash style and the secret art and blew up a group of pirates, which caused the rest of the pirates to flee, but Liam did not stop and said that he would bring them down with his finishing blow and directed his rocket punch. But the blow did not come out of his hands and came out, which made him surprised and said that this was not the finishing blow he wanted. Nias told him that it was the rocket punch he had requested. Liam told her that it was a rocket in the shape of a punch, and that it wasn't a punch if it didn't come out of Avid's hand at them. Nia said, but it's much stronger than Avid's hand. After that, Amagi came and told him that she had not succeeded in her mission and had not been able to capture any of the pirates. Liam asked, so what happened to the rest? She said to him, 30% were destroyed and 60% escaped. Liam said to her, okay, that's good work. Well done, Amagi. She said to him, your praise honors me. Gawaz asked the doctor. Did they return empty-handed without any survivors? The doctor replied, I heard they underestimated the enemy forces and withdrew before suffering heavy losses and casualties. Gawaz retorted, they're fools. They should have died rather than run away like cowards. They need to move to annihilate the fleet that escaped to them. The doctor asked Gawaz, will you attack your own men? Gawaz replied, the pirates' reign ends when people despise them. We must make an example of them and then move on to Liam's ship. Amagi told Liam, they've finished mooring. Liam replied, those are satisfying results. Amagi said to Liam, congratulations on your first battle. Truly on your first battle. Liam responded, of course, we managed to protect our resources and even got some spoils. Amagi said to Liam, according to Imperial law, whoever seizes a pirate ship has the right to claim ownership of the ship and all its cargo. Liam asked, the pirate's ship's cargo, you mean? Amagi confirmed, exactly. Liam exclaimed, that's a treasure for us. Amagi told Liam, these ships seem to be full of orichalcum, scarletite, and other things too. Liam asked, I believe all these materials are used in weapon manufacturing, aren't they? Then he told them he wanted a golden crown studded with diamonds. Amagi explained, diamonds are just carbon crystals, and gold is only known for its low tendency to tarnish, so neither is considered very valuable. Liam asked, is that how it is in this world? Brian added, the materials on the ship are more valuable than gold and diamonds. Liam replied, I don't care. I love gold very much. Brian said, then there's some gold too. Liam asked Brian, are you sure? Brian confirmed, of course. It's an industrial resource used in electronics manufacturing. Liam said, good, and asked them to convert everything into gold coins, which surprised Brian. Liam explained, gold coins mean gold to me, and I want you to fill my room with them. Brian asked Liam, what about the other resources? Liam replied, make weapons from them. Brian said, there isn't a good weaponsmith in Banfield County. Liam said, we don't own anything here. Amagi spoke up, I want to say something. She informed him that they had discovered a problem when deploying their forces. She said, Banfield now has about 0 warships, but less than 30% of them are operational, and only 0 ships can respond to emergency mobilization. Liam said, I'm surprised we won against the pirates with such a fleet. Amagi responded, the pirates thought we were impoverished nobles and underestimated us, but your brilliant performance, Liam, is what made us victorious. Liam replied, all this was thanks to your strategy, Amagi. He added, we have a real problem because 70% of our fleet isn't working. Amagi suggested, what if we get rid of the old unusable warships? Brian protested, that's impossible. He told Liam, the fleet's size is our lifeline. If we reduce the number, the pirates will see us as weak. Amagi countered, but owning the warships costs a lot of money to maintain. Liam said, I can't spend money on things I don't use. He told them to turn those things into coral reefs and raise fish there or anything else. Brian said, but the defense of our county. Amagi asked Liam, what about buying new warships? She explained that if they sold the resources they obtained from the pirates, they could buy a good number of warships. The latest models will be out of reach, but with careful selection of used models, we will have enough numbers. Brian said, I don't think buying used ships is a good idea. Our fleet is a symbol of the family, and if it spreads that we're using used ships, there will be a problem. Liam replied, I don't care. Brian responded, this flaunting is what made my father accumulate debts. He asked Amagi to take action and find him used ships. Moving to a warship exhibition, Nias presented a new combat ship from the 7th Weapon Factory of the Grand Fleet. She began explaining all the specifications of the combat ship, stating that it was sturdy and had very heavy armor. She told them that using this ship would make their defense even stronger than it is now. After that, another girl named Ulyssia from the 3rd Weapon Factory appeared and showcased another combat ship, stating that it was made by the world-renowned designer Coloni, the man who won 7 awards this season. Its interior design uses high quality with great precision, and its crew is suitable for designing fleet warriors. It has very comfortable seats and control panels made of 3 0-year-old Ugriant wood. It's very luxurious and refined, and you can lead it no matter how fierce the battle is, and you will maintain your dignity as you confidently defeat the enemy with complete victory. After that, it was announced that the winning and good ship was the one from Ulyssia's 3rd Weapon Factory. Nias said, one moment, why was your ship chosen? We are no less than you in any way. Ulyssia replied, but our ship has tremendous capabilities and possesses weapons created by specialists, so its power is beyond doubt. But since it's so strong, it's not for sale at all. We have perfected the beauty of our product in the 3rd Weapon Factory, which angered Nias. Nias retorted, our warships are strong because we put everything into their capabilities instead of wasting effort on things that aren't needed. Ulyssia responded, the difference is just a false margin. Besides, the strength of a weapon isn't just in its capabilities. It also changes based on the person using it. If the crew is comfortable and avoids fatigue, they can focus and perform their tasks, which means our ships can achieve better results. After that, Nias and Ulyssia walked together. Ulyssia said to Nias, I think this is another victory for the 3rd factory over you. Nias said, I think you won the battle, but you won't win the war. We will win because of the powerful capabilities of our ships. Ulyssia said to Nias, if they fought against each other, we could know which one is really stronger, assuming you'll make someone buy it, which is impossible, isn't isn't it? Nias told Ulysses, shut up. She wanted to try to tell her something, but she was talking to her through instant communication. After that, Nias moved to her area and asked herself, what should I do? She said, the manager will be angry again. Is there anyone eccentric who can buy this ship? She remembered one of the nobles, Liam, and that he removed all the automatic controls to pilot a knight manually. I can call him eccentric too. I think it's him. Moving to the guide who collects negative emotions, he said, today, I'm roaming around looking for them. After that, we moved to Liam, who is playing video games and is very excited. When he was about to defeat the monsters in the game, a cat came to him and pressed the control button, causing him to fail to defeat the monster, which made Liam very angry. The guide said, this is very good. That's a very nice negative emotion. He said, humans are very amusing, and some negative feelings arise from them spontaneously without my intervention. These little morsels of negative feelings have a special flavor, but I need a feast of negative emotions. I think now his negative feelings have grown inside him. At this point, he should be in a hell of debt from huge amounts. After that, the guide was surprised and said, what's this? This town that was on the verge of destruction has become more prosperous than ever. He asks, what exactly happened? He said, this swordsman, when he sought a teacher to teach him, I made sure that a useless scoundrel came to teach him. Moving to the tavern's regular customer entered and asked the waitress for the usual order. The old man said to his friend, have you heard the latest news? He told him that Liam had defeated some pirates. The customer replied, of course, I heard that the pirates were loaded with treasures. The waitress said, that's very good. I hope this luck passes on to me too. Yasushi said, I don't know what he's thinking at all. The waitress asked him, are you talking about your student again? He replied, he's just a trainee from a late class. He continues diligently with the training I came up with on a whim, and he surpassed me in a short time before I became a first-class warrior. The waitress said to him, what's the harm in that? That means your student has grown well, hasn't he? Yasushi replied, this isn't a joke. I think there's something wrong with this rascal. It's crazy to take a trick seriously and perform it on the ground. The guide asked, who are they talking about? After that, we moved to Liam, who is training alone. He succeeded in breaking the tree without showing his sword. Amagi said to him, well done, Liam. Liam asked Amagi, have I reached Master Yasushi's strength? Amagi replied, I couldn't measure anything from drawing your sword to its sheath. I don't think it's different from his sword. Liam said, I think the master lowered his level so that I could understand. He should be more wonderful, like cutting it from 100 meters away. I would like to cut 100 of them at once, because I can't be satisfied with this level. Moving to the tavern, the guide said, what's happening here? I sent him the worst teacher to teach him, but he wasn't affected by it. After that, we moved to Liam as he continues training and says to himself, my parents abandoned me in this world, and I thought I would be piled up with debts. I thought this would be the beginning of a bad life for me, but things are getting better than before, and the debts that I owe are decreasing, and now I've become a skilled swordsman, and what a wonderful life. All this is thanks to the guide who reincarnated me in this world. We moved to the guide who is in pain and said, positive feelings are my weak point, and gratitude is a bad thing. This makes me suffer to the point of death, and I need to renew my negative feelings quickly. He smelled Yasushi's hair and said, there was a mixture of strange flavors mixed with those negative feelings, but this saved me at least. But how did Liam find happiness? Did I reincarnate him in the wrong place? I don't think that's right, and this is all groundwork before his downfall. The higher the height he will fall from, the deeper his despair will become, and it will become delicious. We moved to Liam. Amagi said to him, Liam, this concerns the renewal of our warships. Liam asked, Amagi, did you find any evidence? She said, apparently, the Imperial fleet will upgrade with new weaponry and buy a lot of the new models. They will get rid of their used warships. Liam said, if they're ships from the Imperial fleet, I think they'll be modern models. Amagi said, but there's one condition. They want us to keep the soldiers being held as reserves or nearing retirement with the warships. Liam said, so they want to push the people they don't want onto us? Amagi said, but some of them are part of the Imperial Army and many are graduates of the officers' school with extensive combat experience. I think they would be an addition to us and our fleet. Liam said, okay, that's good. It's a barter deal. Then the mentor appeared and said, I think this is the right time. I'll make them send him the most serious soldiers. It will be fun to watch the soldiers who won't tolerate the evil lord's behavior and become seeds of rebellion later. We moved to Yu Sachi. He said, I overdid the drinking. I shouldn't drink this much again. Then Nias came to him and asked, are you inside? Yu Sachi said, this is unusual, and asked her to come in. Nias said to Yu Sachi, you spent a lot of time teaching Liam the art of swordsmanship, didn't you? He said, it can't be considered a lot of time. Nias said, so you're a skilled fighter to turn him into a good warrior in such a short time. I bet you know Liam well. He said, of course, I won't be any less than anyone. Nias said, so I want to know something from you. He said, don't hesitate, ask me anything you want to know. She said, I'm afraid it will be understood as impolite. He said, don't worry, he's not the type to care about these things. Nias said, if he's going to answer me, I should give him a reward, like match tickets or plane tickets, one of the two. I have to do my best to ask for this. I don't have any of that from him, but I want to gain favor too. Yusachi said, I'm not sure if I should reveal the tastes of others. Nias said, I understand it's difficult to discuss, but I really want to know, and begged him to tell her. He said, you should choose a short skirt and a white shirt with a collar too. I think that will do the trick. Nias thanked him for the advice. We moved to Liam. Then Nias came in and said, I want you you to buy something for me. Liam said, "What's wrong? Did you eat something bad?" She said, "Not at all." Liam asked Nias, "What do you want me to buy?" She said, "I want you to buy the latest warships we've manufactured. Don't make your decision before you see them." Liam said, "I bought a bunch of used warships along with some soldiers too." She said, "Used? Do you mean the ships that the Imperial fleet got rid of?" He said, "What's wrong with them?" Nias said to herself, "I can't believe the third factory is hindering my way here too." Liam said, "So that's what happened. So give up and go back now." Nias said, "Please look at them before you decide," and showed them to him. She asked, "What do you think of their valiant appearance? It guarantees its capabilities." Liam said, "Then sell them to the Imperial fleet." Nias cried and said, "They didn't buy any of our products in the presentation." Liam said, "So you came to me to get rid of your stock?" Nias asked Liam, "Will you do that, Count?" and told him that 100 would be enough. "We can offer loans and we don't mind revolving credit either." Liam said, "Stop, don't talk about debts with me." After Liam agreed to buy from her, he asked Amagi, "Do we have enough money?" Amagi said, "We'll need to reduce expenses in some other areas, but it's possible and it won't be a waste from a long-term perspective, so I don't see any major problem." Nias said, "Thank you, Count," and told him she would bring them right away. Liam said, "She's a very beautiful woman and she has a real talent when it comes to design." Amagi said, "Many other aspects are disappointing, aren't they?" Liam said, "She's a truly disappointing beauty." Then, Nias contacted her manager and told him that she had sold 300 units now. Her manager said, "Did you find the eccentric you were looking for?" She said, "The deal was completed successfully thanks to my charm." He said, "Show some respect." He said, "I can't believe that someone as committed as you is using seduction." She said, "Liam was very impressed with me. He was staring at me madly." Brian, when he was listening to her conversation, said, "Liam fell into a honey trap." Yusachi also heard this conversation and said to himself, "That lieutenant did all sorts of things with Liam while wearing clothes that suit my tastes. I'll never forgive that rascal." Then we moved to Liam, who is at rest with Amagi. He said to her, "It's quiet now, isn't it?" She said, "Of course, it's quiet." The warships from Factory 7 that work with Liam were received, and Liam was informed about this. They were transferred to Liam's military fleet, and an invoice was sent to him via immediate transport for him to sign upon receipt. We move on to Master Yosashi, who is upset because Liam still hasn't cared about his affairs and is always with Liam. He believes that Liam has seduced Nias with his money to be with him, and that he will not forgive Liam for this, intensifying his anger. This frustration led the guide to feel great joy because he also hates Liam, and wants Yosashi to vent his anger entirely on Liam, eagerly awaiting the day he can crush Liam's arrogance after his successive victories. Next, we move to Liam after visiting Factory 7, where he was welcomed lavishly because he bought a group of ships from them. They explained to him how to deal with these ships, which have many advantages that only nobles understand the value of. They mentioned that he could save money if he continued doing business with them, potentially earning points that could significantly reduce costs for regular maintenance. They could also remove the ship's coverings themselves to spare Liam any hassle. But first, they needed to obtain his signature or stamp to confirm receipt. After presenting all these benefits to him, Factory 7 requested that Liam take some of the pirate ships he had suffered losses from. However, Liam refused because he would integrate those ships into his fleet. Eventually, they reached an agreement that satisfied both parties. Factory 7 would deliver a few ships in exchange for transferring the remaining pirates' vessels. Currently, there is no standardization among our ships, which could cause problems managing Liam's fleet. This deal with Factory 7 was made because the pirate ships possess unknown technologies and come from outside the Empire. They hope to study them, having updated some critical yet simple ships compared to the valuable data they can gather from the pirate vessels, leaving Liam eager for the deal. They then moved to the storage area of the pirate ships and entered one of them, noticing many differences from their warships, not to mention a distinct taste. They were amazed by the ship's interior and wanted to take some parts to install in their warships, although these parts were entirely different from their existing systems and difficult to control. They then found a remarkable ether generator used for reverse phase and a gravity wave laser that operates in a subdimensional level, creating a distortion field by displaying an image to warp spacetime using a 3D representation of gravity. They must send this data for analysis. Suddenly, a dog started running in the ship, and Liam began to chase it until he and Amagi arrived at a special area in the vessel that resembled a navigation room, which contained records of the ship's journey up to that point. It became clear that this vessel had traveled all over the Grand Empire. They also discovered that when this ship completed its travels, it shifted through space-time to one of the space-time gates in the Empire's border region. As soon as it exits the space-time gate, it employs a simple transition to leap outside the Empire, but not to foreign lands, rather to the front line where the Empire clashes with other nations, making this area a combat zone where princes have fought for ages. It turned out that this area is outside the law and beyond the Empire's control, potentially serving as an ideal hideout for the pirates. Through analysis, they found that these pirates travel to a wandering planet with an extremely unusual orbit, which seems to drift through a sector filled with numerous large binary black holes near its rotational radius. This complexity makes it impossible to reach without prior knowledge of it, marking it as an ideal hideout for Thema's secret base known as Treasure Island, where pirates frequently stop secretly to hide their precious treasures. They decided they must go there to search for the treasure. We then moved to Gawaz and his crew, who learned that his gang had been wiped out by a petty individual, the leader of the city, Banfilda. They must act immediately to crush this city, but first need to reach the border village of Balmoria. They blew up the ship that carried the injured they had lost to Liam. Then we returned to Liam as he approached the space-time gate with his fleet. They stood in front of the gate, which would first transport them to Balmoria, but the gate refused their passage due to fees. They needed to pay tolls to pass, and since they had numerous ships, the fees would be astronomical. Liam tried to explain that he would pay later since they hadn't brought cash with them, but this gate would not allow such an arrangement. Immediate payment was necessary. However, one of the nobles could write a letter for passage that would be approved, but none from Banfilda was available to do so, as they had all lost trust due to their immense debts. Liam attempted to pass again, but the gatekeeper refused. Yet Liam told him he would approach to speak with him, claiming that matters might resolve face to face. Next, we moved to Gawaz when he arrived at Balmoria's gate with his fleet and successfully passed through the gate. We turn back to Liam as he tries again to negotiate with the gatekeepers after several attempts, telling them things to allow him passage. He begged them many times, but the gatekeeper continued to reject him until he received a call, instructing Liam to leave because he had other business to attend to. However, Liam saw the dog again running by and went after it. We shift back to Gawaz's fleet, which passed through the gate and would arrive at Banfilda within half an hour. Next, we see the gatekeepers who know Gawaz is one of the pirates, but they let him pass because he paid them, understanding he would meet Liam's fleet. However, they kept it quiet, claiming it was not their concern, and took a break to avoid any investigation. After exiting the control room, Liam entered, having seen the dog go to that place, and was surprised to find no one in the control room for the gate. He discovered that the gatekeeper had connected Liam's fleet to Balmoria's gate without informing him, believing he was surprising him, and thought he was doing a kind deed. The gatekeeper probably cleared all the staff so no one would know about this, but he ended up sending them in the wrong direction. Liam corrected this and redirected his fleet back on the right path, but essentially this relied on Gawaz's fleet, which caused their ship to sustain damage. Then Liam received a call from Amagi, who told him they had obtained a letter of endorsement from one of the nobles, although it was not from a noble but from Nias, who used Factory 7's name for this letter, all due to purchasing warships from them and delivering some pirate ships. The issue had been resolved, and they quickly set off. As soon as they departed through Balmoria's gate, once the ships formed, they would transit to Treasure Island. Next, we turn to Gawaz, who is angry because too much time has passed, and they haven't reached their designated location, not knowing the reason. He then showed them they were nearing the spot, with little time left, before they emerged from space-time but were on the wrong path, having transitioned to the training space ahead of them, where 700 warships from the Imperial fleet loomed. This sight made Gawaz feel fear. We shift back to Liam, who activated his space-time magic and successfully transitioned, and all the ships finished transitioning, drawing near to Treasure Island. There were many ships present, though inactive, and they didn't expect a rival to approach them at this time. Then Liam's fleet launched a surprise attack on them, striking them unexpectedly. Liam merged with Avid and launched into space, avoiding missiles fired at him, delivering a direct hit of the missile to the main ship, which led to its explosion and the destruction of the entire fleet, even though they outnumbered Liam's fleet. All the pirate ships fell silent as they prepared to eliminate the weak by sending out their moving knights to Treasure Island in search of treasure. Let's move to the Kingdom of Libby, where Princess Tia appeared as she returned victorious from a battle. Her parents congratulated her on her triumphant return, and she told them she had succeeded in driving out the space pirates. But her brother, Ricard, felt jealous of her, as she had gained so much glory, and it seemed to the people that he was avoiding responsibility while his younger sister fought. Tia told him that since he was the next crown prince, he shouldn't throw himself so easily into the front lines. Then Tia's younger sister stepped forward and asked if she could become a knight like her. Tia promised her that when she grew up, she'd make her a knight too and teach her how to wield a sword. Suddenly, a pirate fleet attacked them. They'd thought the Unified Union was protecting them, but it was clear now that they'd been betrayed. The pirates continued their assault, and their shield couldn't withstand the blasts any longer, leading to its destruction. As a result, the blasts breached the kingdom, causing a huge explosion. Guaz succeeded in capturing Tia and completely destroying the kingdom. Then the story moves to Guaz's ship, where Tia was brought there in chains. There were many other chained prisoners too. Tia tried to reassure them and told them there was a way to rescue them through the resistance forces, and she was planning a rescue operation. Then Guaz approached along with the doctor. Guaz was happy to see Tia safe, but she was very angry about being captured and told him she'd rather die than live as his subordinate. But if he insisted, then he should at least free the others in exchange for her life, because she thought she was the one Guaz wanted. Guaz explained she was wrong if he wanted to kill her. He wouldn't have gone to all this trouble, and to him, they were like his pets, and he wouldn't let them die so easily. But he'd changed his mind now and would grant part of Tia's wishes. He asked her to choose which of the female prisoners should be released. She couldn't believe she had to make such a choice and hesitated. Guaz almost withdrew his offer, but Tia asked him to wait and that she would choose. She selected one of the girls, who was then taken to the sedation chair. They fooled them, and Guaz told Tia that pirates never keep their promises. He told the doctor to proceed. The doctor revealed his extra arms, grabbed the surgical tools, and approached the girl, which made Tia furious, and she screamed at him to stop. Tia also begged Guaz to stop the doctor, but if he stopped now, the girl would die. Tia was in tears for the girl, then lost consciousness. When she woke up, Guaz told her it was good she came to, so she could see her friend's body. Tia cried a lot for her friend, but to Guaz, this was just the beginning, and he would turn them into something even more amazing. Tia asked why Guaz was doing all this, and Guaz said he did it for fun. For him, seeing beautiful things become ugly was entertaining and he couldn't stop himself. He told her to look carefully, because she was next. He grabbed her, sat her in the sedation chair, and tied her up. The doctor approached her. Tia begged Guaz to make him stop, promising she would do anything he wanted. Guaz was surprised at Tia's change of heart, after she had wanted him to hurry up and kill her. The doctor began to do the same thing to her. Guaz wondered why he hadn't started with Tia from the beginning, but he wanted to see this expression on her face. Anyone who saw their friend's body would be terrified and break down, and it wouldn't be fun to toy with her if she remained strong-willed. He had to break her first. The doctor asked Guaz what he wanted done to her. Guaz told him to remove her eyes and place them in her palms so she could look at herself in the mirror and see how hideous she'd become. Guaz looked at everyone else and told them to enjoy the show, because they were next. After Tia was transformed, she asked the doctor to kill her, but he refused because she was the leader's favorite and needed to entertain Guaz. But she shouldn't give up either, or it would stop being fun. She had to stay strong and desperate. Tia cried a lot because of all this. Then suddenly, they were attacked by the Liam fleet, which destroyed them. The doctor was shocked and hurried to the control room, asking what happened. One of the crew members reported they were under heavy attack. The doctor was surprised because Guaz wasn't with them, and now they were under attack. Liam appeared, fused with Aphid, and assaulted them, hitting them with several strikes that destroyed the machines. Liam saw the dog again, which guided him the right way. Liam then found the doctor and the other staff. They surrendered immediately. Liam demanded they hand over their treasure, but the doctor said he knew nothing about any treasure, and said all they had were the pets cherished by Captain Guaz. Liam was confused and asked if they had dogs on board, but the doctor thought Liam, like Guaz, loved the same things, and told him he could make a dog out of one of them if Liam wanted. Liam was confused again and asked the doctor what he was talking about. They showed Liam the lab where all the transformations took place, which disgusted one of Liam's guards. As Liam kept walking, Tia caught his attention, and the doctor told him she was Captain Guaz's favorite and one of his masterpieces. That made Liam remember old things that made him really angry, and he shot the doctor, killing him. Liam admitted the pirates were definitely evil. As Liam was about to leave, he heard Tia ask them a question about themselves, saying she wasn't an enemy even though she was disgusting. Liam approached Tia and told her that they were the Banfield fleet, and that he was their commander, and that he now controlled this facility and had killed the doctor who did this to them. Tia cried again and begged Liam to save her, since they could never live as humans again. It would be better if he killed them too, but Liam didn't want to kill them. He would save them, and asked them to remember to repay this favor someday. Liam ordered his guards to bring the medics and evacuate everyone from there, but that wasn't what Tia wanted. She pleaded with him to kill them, since they didn't want to live anymore. Liam's vice commander told her he couldn't disobey Prince Liam's orders. The vice commander asked Liam if he really wanted to save them. If he did, he could regenerate their bodies from scratch. It might be possible to return them to normal by using the elixir and some medical specialists, but it would cost a fortune. Still, he'd do it, since they asked him to. That was all there was to it. But when Tia asked him to save them, she'd actually meant kill them. Liam didn't do that because he was in a good mood, and doing a good deed once in a while isn't so bad. Then Liam was told they'd found the pirates' treasure. Liam confirmed to his deputy that he'd found the money for the treatment. Now, let's switch to the guide, who looks for bad feelings. He was watching someone making himself some food. This person had to stir natto a lot until the ammonia smell was gone. Add soy sauce. Stir again. Add more soy sauce. Mix it. Then add green onions and Japanese mustard. Then he put it on rice and started to eat, but he spit it out because he realized he'd used something other than soy sauce, and he collapsed. We go back to the guide, who was also eating. After watching this guy, the guy didn't like it and wasn't satisfied with this small bad feeling. He needed to share in a much bigger negative feeling than this. It was time to take Liam down, now that he'd become arrogant. Then we go to Liam's place again. Nias came to him wanting to buy some of the warships Liam got from the pirate fleet for a celebration. But Liam wanted something for this celebration, and told her not to try and blackmail him. He told her he managed to surprise the pirates while their main fleet was far from its base, so his forces were basically safe, and it was easy to grab all the treasure on their island. But Liam refused to sell the ships to Nias, which made her sad. He wasn't falling for that trick again. She felt sad again, and finally reminded him that she was the one who gave him the letter of introduction when he had trouble using the instant transport gate, and that he went there and got all this treasure thanks to her. Then Liam asked Imagi how many warships he could buy with the pirate treasure, but he didn't have much left after paying off their debts and buying supplies. They would only be able to buy 5, 0. Then Nias ran away and thanked him because he would buy 5, 0 ships from her, but Nias ran after her and told her that he had not agreed to this. Then we move to the laboratory where Yosashi is thinking thinking of a way to deceive Liam to take money from them. Behind Nias, she is talking to her manager that she made Liam buy 50 ships from her, and that she tore apart her pride for that, which made Yosashi feel annoyed because he loves Nias, which caused the mentor to laugh a lot. Then we move to Liam, who is searching for Nias because he wants to get rid of the pirate treasure. Then Yosashi called him and asked him to follow him. They went to the training place, and Yosashi told him that he wanted to see the results he achieved from his training. He started showing some machines and launching strikes at Liam. Then he increased the attack power on Liam, which caused Liam to feel pain. Yosashi told him that if he hunted some pirates and became arrogant, he would bring shame to the Flash style. But Liam saw that it was impossible to deal with this number with just one sword. But Yosashi told him nothing is impossible and asked him to find a solution now. Then Liam thought carefully about a solution and discovered that he could use magic by blocking these strikes using a barrier, and that he could use magic for defense instead of attack. He converted the magic power from the sword to space-time and created a wall of magical power. He had to defend himself, and this is what Yosashi taught him, which led to Yosashi being amazed at Liam, saying he had never heard of a magic power wall before. Liam shot arrows to destroy the weapons that were aiming at him. Yosashi was amazed after Liam destroyed the weapons and said to himself that this boy is very serious, and if he discovers that I am a fake trainer, he will kill me like he killed the pirates and corrupt officials, and that he is dangerous when he explodes. Yosashi told Liam he had nothing left to teach him, and asked him to keep training on his own. But Liam insisted on continuing to learn from Yosashi, which made Yosashi angry. He scolded Liam, telling him not to baby himself. There was no end to the path of the sword, meaning they were only halfway. He couldn't rely on Yosashi forever. Then he shocked Liam by saying he had now become a successful master himself, and should spread the Flash style. Yosashi bid him farewell and left, making Liam happy. But when Liam turned around, Yosashi quickly ran off, thinking about his achievements and how happy he was all thanks to the guide who had reincarnated him in this world. This made the guide furious that Liam directed positive feelings and gratitude toward him. He hadn't forgiven him for this, and would drown him in the ocean. Liam was extremely angry and dissatisfied. His deputy asked him what the reason for this was. The reason was that he wanted to become the Prince of Evil since his birth on this planet, intending to run a tyrannical government and enjoy watching his people suffer. However, for his deputy, this was an unusual ambition. This was because Liam suffered from exploitation in his previous life, so he intended to use his position as a count to repay that debt. Amagi agreed with him on repaying his debts as well, and told him that if he didn't reduce his capital quickly, the lost money due to interest would spiral out of control. But Liam didn't mean financial debts. He wanted to compensate for the humiliation he faced in his past life. However, Amagi thought that regaining control of his current territories was more important than his previous situation. Then Liam's deputy informed him that it would take some time to treasure the pirates to ascertain the value of her assets, due to the numerous evaluations that needed to be done. This caused Liam to feel angry because his request was ignored, but he didn't care and wanted to enjoy life as an evil prince. He began to think that when it comes to being an evil prince, he needs money, power, and women. Once he possessed all these things, he would be a true villain. Regarding power, he learned the flash technique from Tosashi and is now a skilled teacher, but he still needed to be a skilled swordsman. After that, Amagi came to him and told him that there was a merchant named Thomas from Henfrey Trading Company who wanted to meet him. Liam allowed him to enter, and Thomas approached and greeted him, saying he had heard about Liam's success in eliminating the pirates and had come to congratulate him. However, Liam asked Thomas to lift his head and inquired if he came bearing gold or what. Thomas assured him that he did bring gold and it was a gift for him, requesting that he accept it, which made Liam extremely happy after receiving the gold. Liam then said, "You have now become evil, Achigoya," but Thomas replied that they were from the Henfrey Trading Company. However, Liam clarified that what he said was a joke. Liam transferred the gold with his deputy and asked Thomas why he came here other than to congratulate him. Then Thomas honestly told him that they wanted to move a large amount of their trade through dangerous space, and asked for help from his fleet, saying he would be grateful if Liam provided him with 100 ships. Liam asked Thomas if he did his business in these dangerous places. However, Thomas told him about the many places where pirates appear and how many merchants had faced raids from them. Then Liam turned to Amagi, who was fully prepared to equip 100 ships, believing that this would enhance their ship's skills through training in the open space and also increase their experience. Liam agreed to give Thomas 100 ships, but requested gold in the next round as well. We then switched to Thomas, who was returning to his city, marveling at how Liam's city had changed within just a year, recognizing that he had done a lot for it despite his young age, and considering him exceptional. Thomas was astonished by the glint in Liam's eyes when he saw the gold, which he found strange. Then we returned to Liam, who was pleased with the gold, and his deputy felt happy about Liam reaching a high rank that deserved him to receive bribes. He asked him why the gold, because Liam believed gold was a symbol of new wealth. Then he asked Amagi to process the gold as well, and tossed it to her. The deputy asked if the gold was made of currency. Liam Liam informed him that it was of the Kuban type and should then come in the form of Kuban or Opan. Then he asked Amagi to make him a bathtub out of gold. The deputy thought Liam wanted to bathe in a gold tub because it does not cause any diseases, but Liam did not mean that. Then Liam moved to his seat, feeling very happy because he received the bribes, marking the beginning of his path to evil. Now the last thing left is women, and he plans to gather women from his territory and create his own harem. He started gathering the largest number of women and asked his deputy what Liam wanted to do in this room. Liam told him it was the room to fulfill his dreams, and he had asked the servant robots to redesign it so he could achieve his dreams. Liam then asked the deputy if he knew the term shuchinikorin. When he learned that the deputy didn't know it, he started explaining that it refers to enough alcohol to fill a pool and sufficient meat to create a feast, describing it as a banquet at the peak of extravagance. He would achieve that here and create his own shuchinikorin in this place. Then he would lay out beautiful women and build his harem here. Amagi interrupted Liam, and he thought she would tell him that this was too expensive, but she didn't say that. Instead, she told him that they had acquired pirate treasure and that this wasn't costly at all. However, she wondered if filling this tub with alcohol could cause an explosion or a huge fire. Liam tried to find lower concentration alcohol, and then Amagi told him that if he drank it, it was filthy for him. But Liam insisted on installing water purifiers. Then Amagi clarified that when the water purifier is installed, the alcohol would be filtered out, leaving ordinary water, and she asked him if he planned to bathe in it. However, Liam didn't want to drink the alcohol that someone would bathe in and felt disgusted, but the deputy intervened, informing him that he wouldn't allow him to do anything unhealthy, and asked if he intended to hang meat along with the alcohol. Yet Liam saw no objection to that. Amagi asked if Liam planned to hang raw meat or processed meat, because if it was processed meat, the room would turn into a ready-made food store, and if it was raw meat, it would be like a butcher shop. This made Liam feel despair, because this was not what he wanted, and the deputy got angry at Liam thinking he wanted to eat that poisoned meat, risking his life. Amagi told him that the meat would increase bacteria and lose a lot of its flavor, and the deputy offered that if he wanted to eat meat, he should eat properly handled meat. Liam felt even more despair than before because they didn't understand his intention and told them he hadn't given up on his dream of the harem and that he would make women serve him while he played with them. Amagi agreed with this idea, making Liam happy, feeling he would build a magnificent harem. Then the deputy praised Liam for being the count and ruler of this city, expecting him to have a wonderful harem. He thought Liam was still too young for this, but Liam had fallen into honey traps several times when Nias had seduced him into buying some warships. In all cases, one must have a girl to take care of him, and who knows when he would have an heir. Liam thought the deputy was too hasty, but the deputy was thinking about an heir for Liam because if he died, this family line would end and he needed to have an heir quickly, leading to the deputy feeling very excited. Liam asked him to calm down. He informed Amagi about the lack of any current problems regarding building a harem. Then, he told Liam that since the matter was approved, he would carefully select from all the women in the city. The deputy then asked Liam what he planned to do after he finished building the harem. Liam started to think in his mind that 10 women would be enough for him, but to ensure his people also suffered, he should choose 100. This surprised the deputy, but Liam insisted on that number and did not want to compromise. The deputy asked if the number was too large, but Amagi prepared a list of the best girls. She expected that 0 women would come to the palace, so the list contained 0 names. However, Liam thought this number was way too much, but the deputy didn't care about the quantity. The important thing for him was to find a woman who would catch Liam's interest. Liam told him that the number was indeed very large, but the deputy explained that it was his fault for not inviting any girls during this period, and he didn't have a single woman, at least. Liam mentioned that he had Amagi, but she told him she couldn't bear him a child. For Liam, Amagi was the ideal woman for him since she has all his superior traits. However, the deputy would have felt reassured if Liam had kept any of the girls he had been interested in before. But Liam valued quality over quantity. The deputy was angry because he hadn't established a harem yet and insisted that Liam meet with those who wanted to join him. Then Amagi presented him with a device to narrow down his options, and once he chose, she would summon them to him. The deputy believed that Liam was the ruler, and if he reached out to any of the girls, they would come to him immediately. But Liam refused because he wanted a girl who didn't want to be with him, which was what Nita had said, that the wicked act that way in doujinshi. He was a victim of betrayal in his past life, so this time he would commit treason. The idea of a woman seeking him was unlikely, and he wouldn't accept any woman who wasn't attractive and who refused to submit to him. He asked the deputy if he had any intention of building a harem, but Liam would only build a harem that pleased him, nothing more. Then Liam moved outside his palace after having isolated himself for a long time and walked between his city. He decided to go get some girls, and approached the first girl, asking her to share a special drink with him. The girl immediately agreed, but a balloon popped from her nose, which surprised Liam. When he looked at all the girls, He found them the same way and asked the girl what it was. She told him it was a nose balloon and that this color was very new. Liam returned to the palace carrying a nose balloon as well, and Amagi was aware of it and said it was a trend. The deputy told him it was just a normal accessory that couldn't be used in the palace, but women found it very cute. Liam remarked that women call anything that doesn't bother them cute and asked what was good about it. It made people look foolish. However, Amagi liked it and asked to borrow it from him, saying she would wear it for his sake. Liam got angry, stating he didn't want Amagi to wear it, and he immediately smashed it, telling her to ask people to prohibit it because these things dampened girls' excitement, even though they thought it was beautiful. He wondered what had happened to fashion in the first place in this city. He was astonished when he went out for a stroll in his city, thinking he would meet many beautiful girls, but all he found were nose balloons. He felt very angry because their beach attire was incredibly tight, and that he no longer accepted this. He didn't know how to talk to any of the girls. Then the deputy asked Liam if he was still angry about the alcohol and meat room. Liam confirmed he was angry about it, but it had nothing to do with what he was discussing now. He didn't want to see any women wearing such clothes, and they needed to improve their fashion in the city. Amagi thought they had greatly evolved in fashion, but Liam didn't like it, telling them that the most common fashion was better. He asked Amagi to meet with the best designers and models so he could influence people through them, but Amagi informed him that bringing a model would cost a lot and nearly match the city's annual budget. This astonished Liam, and he backed down from the idea, deciding to start bringing beautiful girls to the palace. When they arrived, he would adjust their outfits to his taste, and he thought that was a simple solution. Amagi then told him that those who worked in the palace were the best-looking men and women. Amagi asked Liam if she should call someone nearby to take care of him, but Liam refused this because he was in a bad mood. He asked Amagi if there was any objection to him pursuing the female staff, but Amagi had no problem with it, and Liam believed he was going to break the law. However, Amagi clarified that they were hired just because they wanted to work there, and that was possible without any issue at all. The deputy told him that if he did that, it would please them. Liam was shocked that he could do that and realized he should have planned for it. If he hadn't had Amagi, he wouldn't have known what to do since she provided him with everything. Then the deputy intervened and told him he should do this with real women, so the family wouldn't end. Liam moved away from him, saying it wasn't fun to chase after women who were excited about it from the start. Amagi thought he would want to pursue men if he wanted to, which greatly annoyed Liam. He told her he didn't mean that and just wanted to enjoy it like a villain. However, Amagi reassured him that he was the ruler and the king of the entire city, proving that this was true. He didn't mean it that way. He found it difficult to transform himself into a villain prince and couldn't make any progress in that, forcing beautiful women to serve him and wanting to waste money. Then we moved to Tia after she regained consciousness and saw her hands were in good shape. A doctor came to her and told her she was back to her natural state, which astonished Tia greatly. She tried to move, but the doctor warned her against overexertion, leading Tia to cry after returning to her natural form. She thought she was dreaming and had suffered a lot because of her old appearance. Now she was happy, even if she was dreaming that she was a normal human. The doctor used an elixir, and Tia was amazed because an elixir was a miraculous medicine and extremely precious. She told her that her homeland had been destroyed and she couldn't afford the cost of this treatment, asking who did it. Was it a mistake? The doctor told her it was no mistake and that Tia didn't need to pay for medical fees. It was Liam who did it and who established this facility, gathering many doctors, and the rest were also receiving treatment, which made Tia very excited. She would do anything to move and walk again. The doctor then delivered a message from Liam, asking her to repay him. Tia remembered when he told her that during their first meeting. After delivering the message, the doctor left, and Tia cried a lot, swearing she would repay him. We then returned to the palace, where Liam was choosing among the girls, resembling browsing for a date. We move to his tavern, where a regular customer arrives and orders his usual drink, also asking for a round for the staff. The waitress is surprised by his excessive generosity today and greets him with a wave. The customer then tells them he has become a manager and is in dire need of employees. The waitress informs him, while serving his order, that everyone is struggling with a staff shortage. The customer then asks them if he has found a treasure from pirates, right? And he plans to use that to develop the entire city, which makes the employee happy. The old man wishes they could take a break, but the waitress tells him that he comes here to take a break. Meanwhile, the guide is sitting behind them, listening to their conversation, and is very angry because this land should be the most impoverished and burdened with debt. So why is it developing like this? He questions whether this is a mistake in his plan and denies the existence of this. Then we shift to one of Liam's fleets, where a commander and his deputy praise Liam for being brave and a true prince, and they feel very lucky to work with him. The guide also listens to them and believes these soldiers will turn against him over time. However, they all swear loyalty to him, and he senses there is a mistake somewhere. Next, we move to Yoshashi, who is in complete relaxation thanks to Liam's reward for him. He gets angry when he sees Liam's recognition on television, which is due to Liam teaching him the flash technique, causing great fear in Yoshashi. He thinks he has to escape now, which also angers the guide. Then we transition to Guaz's fleet, where Guaz feels relieved to have successfully escaped. He asks what remaining ships they have, and his deputy informs him there are 30,000 ships left, while the 2,000 ships they used as bait have been consumed entirely by the Imperial fleet. However, Guaz is unconcerned about this because they are basically war prisoners, and sacrifices must be made. Guaz wonders how they ended up escaping this place, and how they fell into the middle of the Imperial Fleet's training area. It is expected that they are heading to the Banfield province. The deputy thinks they should exit through the Domus gate, but there's a possibility that Domus may have changed its settings. Guaz vows to teach the pirates a lesson about betrayal, and that he will tear them apart. Then the guide appeared to Guaz, and asked if he was directing his anger at the wrong person. Guaz questions the guide about who he is, and after the guide answers with his name, Guaz is asked to remember who he was supposed to fight against, and to direct his anger there. The guide casts a spell on him that makes him remember who he should be fighting and causes Guaz to think only of Liam, believing he needs to attack Banfield. He directs the ships towards Kenzie Island, insisting they will make his enemies suffer, and once he finishes supplying the ships, their destination will be Banfield, where he will destroy everything. The guide agrees that this is correct and tells him to go pursue that damned one with his huge fleet and make Liam suffer negative emotions. Then he disappears. Next, we move to Liam, who is eating, served by all his servants, each with a different task. Then Amagi asks Liam if he is enjoying the food, but the problem Liam has is not tasting, but the food itself. He wonders about being the prince of evildoers. Amagi believes she is offering him a mountain of food, but Liam doesn't care about that since he won't eat it all and will feel guilty for wasting it. Amagi offers to chat with him while he works with the officials, but Liam refuses this idea because he prefers not to talk during meals. Amagi suggests bringing him women, but Liam asks if she agrees with this. She confirms that she does agree, and asks again if he needs them now. Liam tells her he does not want another woman, but Amagi doesn't know he has a woman now, so he doesn't want another. Liam tells Amagi that she is with him, yet Amagi clarifies that she is not a woman. She is an artificial intelligence and cannot give him an heir, but Liam asks her again about this. Amagi responds once more that she doesn't understand this because she is an AI and doesn't know about consent or not, but what matters to her is that Liam is completely happy. Then she asks if he wants her to call some women for him. However, Liam already has plenty of them, and she asks if he considers the robots he has as women. But Liam requests her not to ask this, as if it were like asking whether bananas should be considered a snack. Then she tells him that Brian will lament if he doesn't bring beautiful women here. But Liam feels that Brian doesn't understand men's dreams, and that the women who welcome that won't arouse his desire. Amagi sees that things have gotten complicated. Then Liam goes to his room, planning to squeeze high taxes and fill his pockets like an evil prince. But drowning in debt means his situation is similar to his previous life. Amagi asks Liam what he wants to achieve as an evil prince. Liam will raise taxes and make the public suffer. Amagi thinks this will increase their income, but it will lead to long-term losses in general. Hence, she doesn't recommend doing this. However, they could examine the people of Banfield City and raise taxes if needed. But Liam doesn't want to hear such mature ideas and wants to misuse his power and become a tyrant. Amagi reminds him that if this happens, it will affect their ability to repay debts. Then Liam remembers how he suffered from debt collectors in his previous life. Amagi asks Liam if he is unhappy with this life, and she will do her utmost to solve these problems. But Liam's management of his land is going well. Despite his huge debts, he is making progress in repayment. Even his poor parents left on their own, and he mastered the flash technique and obtained the pirate's treasure, and money and power are steadily flowing towards him. But most importantly, Amagi is by his side, and how could he not be satisfied with life? This is his biggest reason, and that's why he wants to use this perfect opportunity to achieve his ambitions, to immerse himself in his power as an evil prince, and to celebrate his good fortune in this world. However, Amagi doesn't understand these manly things, and tells him for the third time that she is an AI, and it's hard for her to grasp the concepts of men, but she will assist him in anything he desires. Then we shift to Liam's cleaning room, where the robots continue cleaning. One robot is talking to them about finishing their tasks quickly for Mr. Liam, because they possess the highest quality systems. Then a group of robots gathers, Shiraani, Arshima, and Shiomi. Shiraani tells them that she tried to change her hairstyle to Arshima's, so that Liam wouldn't inspect her, but Liam discovered her, which surprised them, despite them having the same body and being very identical. But Shiraani tells them that the video of that moment is her personal treasure, so she put a protection on it and saved it. However, the other two, Arshima and Shiomi, objected, saying they would do the same until Liam calls their names. But Amagi appeared to them and told them she wouldn't allow this. However, Shirani doesn't see this as something that would annoy Liam. Then Amagi told her she would confiscate that video to give to Liam, and asked her what she was thinking. Was she joking with Liam, and not to leave any data behind? Then Amagi walked away, but Shiomi called out to her and asked if it was appropriate to be intimate with Liam when she is also, after all, an AI. But Amagi entirely rejected this, stating she does this because it's Liam's orders. Then she left, but none of the three understood Amagi's behavior. Then we moved to Liam's office, where he came to Brian and told him about the bad news, which is that the pirates have declared war on them, and a large number of pirate ships are gathering at the edge of the chaos system. Liam thinks that taking the time to declare war is only fair behavior towards a group of pirates. Amagi believes they are giving them time to feel scared because they invaded the pirate treasure island, and if this is revenge, they won't just settle for killing them. Liam now understands that this person's fleet captain enjoys torturing families and mutilating their bodies bodies, which is highly probable. Amagi sees that he has great power in his fleet, so he declared war on them. Brian will hold a meeting with the officials and the troops as well. Then Brian gathered the officials and told them that the pirate leader is Guaz, and he wants money, women, and men with good looks to avoid an attack on them, which enraged Liam. He told himself that he is very evil, and Brian was surprised that Liam started to feel fear for Benfield. Then one of the officials suggested that they negotiate with the pirates and try to settle the matter peacefully. Then Liam asked how strong are the pirates. Brian told him that they have 30,000 ships. Liam asked Amagi about the number of their ships, which is 5,000, but the head of the forces said that numbers aren't everything, and even if they surrendered, the pirates wouldn't leave them in peace. The official believes that increasing the damage on them is foolish in a battle they can't win, and they are waiting for reinforcements from the Empire. Then Liam started thinking deeply and discovered something strange, which is Guaz's bounty. It is not cheap, but it is also not enough to make someone rich right away, and this is not the kind of money someone risks facing 30,000 ships for. He would have a greater motive if the bounty were higher. Then Amagi asked to speak, and when he ordered her to go ahead, she told him that she used data from the pirate ships they seized the other day to estimate the enemy's strength and analyze them to conduct a combat simulation. Their chances of victory are only 3%, which surprised Brian, who then said, "If only the new 7th Weapon Factory's weapon were ready." Liam asked if they had a new weapon, and Brian assured him they did, calling it the new Cyclone Destroyer. When Brian pronounced the name, time suddenly stopped, and Liam began to talk to them, but no one wanted to respond. Liam remembered that Nita mentioned that time stopping was an event arranged in 90% of cases, but it actually stopped. Then the guide appeared to Liam because he wanted some of his time, but Liam rejected him because he had a big problem he wanted to solve now. However, the guide confessed to him that he was the one who led the pirates here and asked him if the city of Benfield was burdened with debts. Liam told him that because of these debts, he couldn't do what he wanted, and that's disappointing. For this reason, the guide summoned the pirates who hold great treasure, and if he defeats them, everything would be his. Liam had already seized pirate treasure, but it was just a small part, and if he defeats the leader Guaz, he will get a much larger treasure along with great honor. The guide arranged everything, and did not embody himself as a noble from the beginning, because starting from the ground up and distinguishing himself would allow him to gain greater fame. Liam felt excited that the guide thought all this for him, and the guide told him this was little for him and wished him to accept it. He then disappeared, and Liam thanked him after he left for his reward. Then Brian continued his speech, and Liam felt that he was mocking him, but Brian clarified that he was talking to him about the new destroyer weapon. However, Liam asked him to stop mentioning this name too much because it was confusing. Then Liam decided that he would destroy Guaz's pirates, but the head of the officials objected to this since they also had mercenaries, and Benfield had none of the knights. But Liam got angry and told him that this is what needs to be done, and all that Guaz needs to do is silence and obey. This is a final decision, and he requested them to prepare the ships and gather them. We move to one of the restaurants where the guide is trying to gather negative feelings. In this exhibit, a type of baked goods, sought after by many, was presented. There was a girl waiting to see this, but when her turn came to buy, her favorite baked goods were already gone, which led to her deep sadness. On the other hand, the guide felt happiness from these negative emotions, but his joy didn't last long because another group of baked goods was presented by the restaurant staff. This made the girl very happy and disappointed the guide. However, he told himself that he still had the main dish he had been saving. Next, we shift to the city of Liam, and Brian felt regret as they had just elevated their city, and now they were in a battle against pirates. However, Amagi told him that they hadn't been defeated yet and that Mr. Judgment was not wrong. She informed them that their success rate was 3.8% based on previous records regarding the Na pirates. If they surrendered, they would be wiped out without a fight with their planet, and betting on a 3.8 chance instead of 0 was not a mistake. Brian believed that if Liam had been born a century ago, he could have wiped out those pirates completely. Liam's fleet was on its way to the pirates, and Na was also waiting for him with his large fleet. The guide thought Liam's mistake was believing his own words, and that he had learned nothing from his past life, waiting for his negative feelings. Then we moved to Na, who saw that Liam was acting like an adult, sailing toward the battle. He ordered his aide to inform all ships that anyone who captured Liam would double their reward, claiming he would make this scoundrel his plaything. It would be fun to face arrogant siblings like him, and as soon as he was done with him, he would enjoy torturing his people. Na smashed a glass to the ground and vowed to Liam that he would show him how real war feels. We switch back to Liam, who noted some soldiers saying that Liam had nerves of steel, a good reputation, and skills in judgment and dueling, praising him as a noble spirit. Then Liam threatened them, stating that this was the additional stage after he seized their treasure and attained his rewards. Over time, this led Liam to feel bored and frustrated with the lack of battle. However, one of the soldiers informed him that the battle had begun, and that combat at this scale meant they couldn't recklessly engage with each other, as they were struggling due to the overwhelming enemy numbers. Liam questioned why they hadn't been fighting yet, and how it was a struggle. He couldn't even see their enemies up close close, but the soldier explained that in space, being able to see your enemy means you're close enough to land a punch. He saw their size, and it was odd that they had a skilled military plan. Another soldier told him that they had many knights and former soldiers lured by money, which was always a problem when the enemy was skilled. Liam asked how long they could wait and whether they could attack now. Then he was informed that the enemy was coming from above, and that they had divided their fleet while attacking them with only 50 ships. Amagi thought this was done to disrupt their fleet formation, and that they were indicating a plan to create a gap. However, Liam learned from one of the knights that these ships were not pirates but soldiers who had surrendered after being defeated by the pirates. Liam asked why they were not on their side. The knight replied that anyone captured by the pirates would be killed if they defied them, so to survive, they had no choice but to become traitors and join the pirates. Amagi felt they shouldn't trust someone who had betrayed and joined the pirates, considering them the lowest of ranks. Liam realized they would exhaust them with work and make them die in vain. Then both fleets engaged in attacks on each other. After moving back to Na, he realized that their advance had been eliminated, and Na thought that Liam was not that bad after all. He told the captain that combat had disrupted the enemy's formation. He ordered the soldiers to attack to show them the pirates' power. Then Liam's fleet retreated, leading Na to believe they were fleeing, ordering the soldiers to attack them. However, there were space mines planted among the pirate ships, but Na did not care about this clever trick and urged them to keep advancing. Next, we moved to Liam's ship, where he was told that the pirate fleet was progressing toward them, using their allies to clear the mines. It seemed they intended to move forward with a massive number and did not care about making sacrifices because of their numbers. They exchanged blows again. The pirate fleet sent their defensive ships behind their front lines. One of Liam's knights requested that the soldiers maintain distance from the front and deploy defensive ships in front of their ship. Liam asked the knight what he meant, and the knight explained that he wanted to protect the ship they were on. Liam inquired about his front lines, and the knight confirmed they would do their best to protect him as well. Liam grew angry, as he believed the knight meant he wanted to sacrifice his men as the pirates did, which should not happen. The knight saw that war involves a lot of sacrifices, and if it came to him sacrificing himself for Liam, he would do it. They could also hold off the enemy longer than expected, and if the battle dragged on, they could be reinforced by the Empire, turning the tide of battle. However, Liam did not inform anyone about waiting for any reinforcements, and asked whether he was willing to sacrifice his front lines just to buy some time. The knight believed it was their only way to win. However, Liam would not allow this at all, telling him that he was an evil prince and would seize everything. This land and everyone living in it belonged to him and to whom they belonged. The warships fighting there also belonged to him, and every drop of their blood was his. Therefore, he did not want to waste what belonged to him and did not want to lose a single ship or man. He would not allow anyone to expend them as pawns, nor would anyone be allowed to die without his permission. They wouldn't wait for reinforcements and would crush them here, allowing them to step only once on his planet. He told them he would launch with a feud and ordered them to prepare for departure. The knight thought this would put him in danger, but then Liam told him to be quiet and replaced him with Amagi to lead the fleet. Amagi agreed to this and told them they would follow her orders from now on. Then Amagi worked on leading the fleet, conveying commands to the soldiers and asking all forces to attack. Liam reassured them about the order and told Amagi that the command was hers and left, then integrated with Aphid. Amagi led, urging them to hurry and that their ship would stand at the head of the fleet. One knight observed that Amagi placed their ship in front of the line of fire, while another argued that AI should not be responsible for leading fleets. However, Amagi believed that since Liam was not there and Aphid wasn't either, there was no reason to avoid putting this ship at risk. On the other hand, their most powerful warship had to go to the front lines to protect Mr. Liam. That was her primary duty. The knights believed that the AI was more loyal to Liam than they were, and urged the soldiers to move forward quickly. Next, we returned to Liam and Aphid, where he was ready to launch. Amagi released Aphid and vowed to the pirates that he would make them regret facing him. Liam activated the turning engine, cast spells, and made an instantaneous move. Then we shift back to Na, who was informed by his aide about the existence of a spatial distortion and an instantaneous transition near them, right in the middle of their fleet. Na was shocked, believing they were planning a suicidal attack. When Liam appeared, they opened fire on him, but Liam dodged the shots and succeeded in destroying the ships. He was also backed by his fleet from behind, and the moving knights were sent forward to attack with Liam. Na's fleet also launched their moving knights. Liam showcased Aphid's sword, charging at Na's knights and destroying them one by one. He then defended against a cannon attack, revealing his artillery and firing, destroying some ships as well. Then Liam produced 2 cannons and aimed his shots at their weak points, causing confusion in the enemy ranks. The knights loyal to Liam engaged with the other knights, and one of them insisted they must protect Mr. Liam and not dump the burden on him. Liam continued the artillery fire, but he ran out of ammunition, and then a pirate knight appeared before him. Liam showcased his weapon and and attacked him, starting to exchange blows. A pirate knight asked Liam about his fighting style, and when Liam told him he used the blink style, the other knight realized he didn't know it. This led Liam to believe that the other knight was not qualified for battle. However, Na's knight had fought many duelists and saw the blink style as a sham, which greatly angered Liam. He told the knight he would make him witness the pain of the blink style that insulted him, then struck him down, eliminating him. Liam told him that this was the style he looked down upon. However, Liam wanted someone to witness the strength of his skills, but he defeated him and could no longer boast about his school. He would find some men who understood the art of the sword and let them go after leaving them nearly dead. Then a group of knights gathered around Liam, mocking him and his style, preparing to attack him. But Liam used the flash technique, which led to their complete destruction. He continued using his method and was able to destroy a large number of ships and knights. Then, there was damage to the machine arm, and he wondered if the machine couldn't continue using the flash technique. Then a group of knights came to Liam again and attacked him. One of them tried to escape, but Liam chased him down and eliminated him. However, another group was waiting for Liam and attacked him as well. They were very numerous. Behind the knights, there were also many ships. Amagi saw that their chances of victory dropped from 3.8% to 1.2%. Meanwhile, Liam continued killing the enemy knights, but he got hit by one of the knights, which broke his sword. This made Liam angry, and he grabbed the knight and took him down, telling himself that he didn't need someone more evil than himself. Then, Liam was surrounded by another group of knights, which made him uneasy, but they were completely destroyed, and Liam didn't know why. Then Tia appeared again in the battlefield to support Liam, and was told by her assistant that all her guards were around her to fight with her. They launched an attack on Guaz's fleet and destroyed many knights, wanting to return the favor to Liam. Next, we see Tia's comrade, who was happy about eliminating the pirates. Tia then attacked one of Guaz's ships and blew it up, continuing with even more destruction. But Liam didn't like that someone else was showing off better than him, so he revealed the rocket punch and managed to combine it with his strength. He then showed a new sword and used the flash technique, which really impressed Tia and also eliminated Guaz's warships. Their chances of victory increased to 83%. Amagi then asked the soldiers to isolate the separate teams from Liam and finish off the pirates. Liam's fleet started attacking the pirates, leading to massive ship destruction. Then Liam swapped the rocket punch for his sword and prepared again for the pirates, vowing to attack them. Then, he continued, amazed by Liam's fighting, as he was very strong. She almost took a hit from behind but caught it and managed to take down many pirate knights. She felt great happiness and continued killing knights. Liam now had his own army, and he would crush anyone who stood against him, for they were useless scoundrels, like debt collectors in his previous life. He also felt excessive happiness. Then we moved to Amagi, who had a new group of high-ranking pirate knights approaching them. She informed Liam about this. Then we moved to Liam, who thanked Amagi for the warning, and told her he would crush them like the others. Then he approached them, and when they fired rockets at him, he used his barrier and successfully blocked the rockets. Then we moved to Liam's ship knights, who felt fear. Then the Commodore told him he was also terrified, but always wondered if Liam could live a normal life if he hadn't been born a noble. He was truly pathetic because he was forced to take a high position, yet he succeeded in developing it. Now he was fighting against pirates, and they were expelled from the army for opposing the Empire's corruption. He never imagined he would find a prince worthy of service like Liam. It was the first time he saw a leader protecting his people, and also planning to crush pirates to save his people. It was the first time he saw a true noble. Meanwhile, Liam continued to attack the pirate knights using his sword and his special pistol, successfully destroying a large number of them. We moved to Liam, who wondered about his next prey. He saw a location on the map and believed it was where the pirate leader was hiding. Then he fired a large volley of rockets at it, but Guz's forces blocked them, which surprised Liam. He decided he would jump over their shields with a short-range transfer and wondered if they were jamming the ethereal wavelengths, and that he couldn't transfer now. Then we moved to Amagi, who asked all ships to advance to breach the shields so Liam could target them. Then Liam's fleet advanced to the enemy's shield to target it. Then Liam's knights asked all ships to aim at the shields and fire at once. Then the ships fired at once as ordered, which led to the destruction of the shield and damage to a group of pirate ships again. They managed to make a breakthrough in the shields, a large hole, which made Liam happy. Then we moved to Guz after he learned from his assistant that Liam's fleet had successfully made a hole in his shields. Guz asked them to hurry and close this hole immediately. Then the pirate knights attacked Liam's knights again until they were able to repair the hole in Guz's shields. But Guz was surprised to see Avid and felt intense anger. Then Guz learned from his assistant that Liam's fleet was pushing towards them. Guz asked about the night guards, but they had all been eliminated, and the others were struggling on the other side of the shields, which made Guz feel despair. Then his assistant approached him and asked, "What should we do?" But Guz saw that the tide was not in their favor, and that the pirates would be finished once people despised them. But the fools who risked danger for greed would not survive, and they would lose at this rate, so they must escape. He asked his assistant to inform the command of this, and that he would abandon the rest. Then Goose asked them to fire cannons at the enemy's mobile knight, and not to worry about stray shots. He asked them to take them down even if it meant injuring an ally. Then they directed shots at Liam, but Liam was not hit by anything. Then we moved to Guz, who asked the rest of the ships to escape, but they couldn't because their allies were on the way. But Guz abandoned his allies and asked them to eliminate them so he could escape. Then Liam appeared above Guz's ship and showed his pistol and fired several shots at the ship's engines, which led to the destruction of Guz's ship. Then Guz asked for an escape ship and fled, but he could not escape Liam's attacks. Liam asked him if he had ever seen such power before. Then the escape ship appeared, but it was destroyed by Liam. Liam vowed to them because they dared to confront him and told them that all their treasures were now his. Then the rest of Liam's knights advanced behind him, and he would now go in search of the treasure, but Liam's deputy warned Liam about the possibility of him blowing himself up, but Liam did not think that a man trying to escape would blow himself up. Then Liam launched a barrage of rocket punches at Guz's ship, which successfully penetrated the ship and exploded from the inside, killing the guards inside. Liam successfully completely destroyed the ship. Then he came out of his vehicle, and his knights also came out, and they entered the ship. Liam's deputy warned him again, but Liam pointed to the presence of an enemy in this place. Then one of the soldiers went and fired at him until he eliminated a group of soldiers. The deputy was surprised by the pirate's attire, which could not be detected. Then they continued to advance, and when they breached one of the doors on the ship, a group of guards appeared behind the door. Then Liam's guards gathered around him to protect him, but he refused this. Then one of the pirates showed his sword and aimed it at Liam, but Liam advanced towards them and walked past them without paying attention to them. None of the pirates could land a blow on them, which surprised Liam's deputy. Then Liam asked his guards, "Why didn't you advance?" Then the enemy's bodies were completely split by Liam's invisible attack. Then Liam continued to advance, which astonished Liam's soldiers. Then Liam successfully breached the ship from the inside and killed all the soldiers. Only Guz's assistant remained, and he felt extreme fear and asked Liam not to kill him and asked him to listen to him. Liam ordered to stop firing at him. Then Guz's assistant told Liam that he was merely a tool for Guz's use and begged him to let him live. He also told him that he knew the location of the treasure, but its lock could not be opened, but he would tell him its location if he revealed it. But Liam's deputy had a different opinion, which was to kill Guz's assistant, and he found it very difficult to believe him as if he was being used. Then Guz's assistant approached Liam and asked him to forgive him and asked him to hire him because he had experience in managing fleets and that he could be useful to him. But Guz's assistant's head fell to the ground from Liam's invisible blow as well. Then we moved to the guide, who was surprised by Liam's strength and believed it was impossible for someone like him to possess such power. He felt intense anger from Yusashi's teachings and that he would use any means to defeat him and that he would grant Guz power. He told himself that this was not his style, but it was okay, and he saw that all this was Liam's fault. Then we moved to Guaz as he searches for a way to escape, wondering whether he should plead with Liam for forgiveness or not. He thinks it's possible he could turn himself in to justice and receive a reward in return, though he would be executed. He considers making a deal for his treasure. Then Guaz is struck by the power of the guide, who tells him he will be given a chance. The power penetrates Guaz, and the guide approaches him, saying he will offer him the opportunity for revenge against Liam. He asks if Guaz would rather die defeated. Guaz then feels he possesses a great power and is no longer afraid. He transforms into a beast, becoming stronger than before. The guide tells him he has nothing to fear now, and his human strength has surpassed limits. Guaz moves forward to find Liam, and the guide believes Guaz will now eliminate Liam, thinking he did the right thing, since Liam's power is not capable of defeating or subduing Guaz. He goes off to enjoy the ensuing negative emotions. When he steps out, a white dog appears again. Next, we turn to Liam's men, who continue to eliminate the pirates on the ship. Liam continues walking but then stops, feeling he saw the white dog. The deputy searches for any signs of life but finds nothing. Liam says to himself that this dog is one of the few friends who hasn't let him down in his life, and he doesn't want it to see what he has become. They continue to advance, and Liam finds the cube that fell from Guaz, admiring it greatly, telling his men that the gold is excellent. Then the dog appears again, catching Liam's attention, and he follows it. The soldiers also follow Liam to protect him. They reach a dead end, and Liam asks them to break down this wall because he feels something bothersome. When the soldiers destroy it, they find a collection of artifacts. Liam thinks this room is very dull, but the deputy believes it's a significant discovery and that these items are valuable. To Liam, the artifacts are like fakes, and all that his father collected was junk. He is convinced these are just cheap replicas, but the deputy requests to investigate them first. Liam finds a katana sword and swings it around, making him admire it even more, deciding to keep it. The deputy asks Liam if this is an art piece, but Liam thinks weapons have meanings beyond their use, seeing it as something he stole from the pirates. Then, Liam is informed about an emergency. We switch to Liam's soldiers who are in battle with Guaz. Guaz has eliminated some of them, but the remaining soldiers attempt to fight him with heavy weapons, which have no effect at all. Guaz vows that they will not leave his ship alive after they interfered with it. He grabs one of them and throws him at the others, demanding they bring him Liam, because he will face him himself. A soldier is told to extract Liam from the ship due to Guaz turning into a monster, but this soldier does not escape Guaz either. Then Liam arrives and delivers several blows to Guaz from behind, but it is Liam's sword that gets affected. Guaz tries to grab Liam, but Liam instantly cuts off Guaz's hand, shocking him. Liam tells him he seized this sword and it seems effective. Guaz attempts to attack again, but Liam's strike is ready for him, and he cuts off Guaz's other hand, which impresses Liam because the sword doesn't chip at all. Guaz attacks once more, but Liam is prepared and successfully cuts off another part of his body. Liam continues to admire the sword, declaring it will become his personal weapon. The soldiers gather around Liam to protect him, but he doesn't need it. Guaz is astonished that this is Liam. Liam tells him he has become his leader now, and asks about this modified human, believing it to be Guaz. While Liam is speaking with his deputy, Guaz launches a quick attack at Liam, but Liam is not surprised. He soars high and delivers a strike to Guaz, severing his foot and bringing him down, leaving Guaz astonished by Liam's power, unable to believe it. Guaz then asks Liam to forgive him, promising to give him any treasure he wants if he spares him, but Liam refuses, saying it is impossible to forgive him. Guaz begs once more, but Liam insists he will kill him, and that he will possess all his treasures, now belonging to him, which fills Guaz with immense fear that Liam will turn him into the Empire according to the bounty on him. Guaz tries to convince Liam of his worth, continually begging him, insisting his treasure is greater than the bounty. Upon realizing Guaz has many hidden treasures, Liam intends to inform the Imperial investigator about it, thinking they would exhaust every option to obtain his treasure, which angers Guaz again. He attempts to stand and fight once more against Liam, but Liam, undeterred, cuts off Guaz's other foot so he can't stand again. This leads to Guaz pleading to Liam even more. Liam's deputy asks if Liam will capture Guaz while he is still alive since he has killed many men, but Liam sees that he will receive a great reward if he hands him over to the Empire alive, so he will turn him in this way. The deputy informs him the reward is the same whether he is alive or dead, especially if he is a criminal like Guaz. As long as he has the orders for a death blow, he will receive the reward, which surprises Liam. He then delivers another strike to Guaz to finish him off. Liam then moves to his ship and asks the Admiral to deal with the rest. Amagi welcomes Liam's return, and he happily tells her he's back once again. We move to the tavern where the tavern's regular customer went there once again. The tavern owner was waiting for him and noticed that the customer was late this time, but she had a lot of work to do. His old friend welcomed him because he hadn't seen him in a long time, but he had been very busy day and night. Then the old man told him that he heard he was going to launch a new company. The customer told him that he would do that because he wanted a company specialized in trade. The tavern owner thought this was amazing for him, and that he was now active throughout space. The old man believed all this was because of Liam, their leader. The customer said that after defeating the pirates through their leader, Banfield Province's reputation rose greatly. The old man expected that the customer had regained the glory he had during Count Alistair's reign 3 generations ago. The customer thought that Mr. Liam could do it from the beginning. The old man asked the customer if he was the one who said he couldn't do anything because he was still only 5 years old. The tavern owner thought they were lucky to have Liam as their leader. Then we moved to Liam's palace, where he was meeting with the head of Humphrey Trading Company. They were evaluating the treasure that Liam obtained from the pirates. The head of Humphrey thought the price was very high. Amagi believed this price would pay off a large amount of the Banfield family's debts. Liam was surprised and asked Amagi how big their debts were, if this deal wouldn't pay off their debts. Then, the head of Humphrey told Liam that he had something regarding the medical equipment he had delivered to him. He also told him that the manufacturers wanted to get medical data from them to develop their products. Liam thought this was the right time for the woman concerned here. Then Tia came to them and thanked Liam because he was the reason for her treatment and allowed her to leave the hospital. But Liam didn't care about all this and asked her to tell the head of Humphrey about the treatment that restored them to humans. While Tia was telling the head of Humphrey, Nias came and thought that Tia was also trying to sell warships to Liam. She moved to sit next to Liam so he wouldn't buy from anyone else. Then Yulisha came and introduced herself to Liam, but Nias also felt angry at her presence for competing with her in selling warships. Then Yulisha offered him a group of new warships and asked him to request anything he wanted from her, which led to Liam's amazement at the ships. He told Amagi that he wanted one of them, but Amagi thought he should get permission from the Empire to buy these warships because their length exceeded 2,000 meters and they wouldn't give such ships to the Banfield family, which made Liam sad because he wanted one. But Nias told him to buy 1,000-meter ships from their factory instead of this. But Tia pointed her sword at Nias and asked her to stay away from Liam immediately. Brian was happy that women were fighting over Liam and that he was pleased with this. Then he told him that he received news from the capital planet that Liam would be awarded a medal in recognition of his achievement in defeating the Guaz pirates. And for this purpose, they wanted him to attend the award ceremony that would be held on the capital planet. Then people came to meet Liam, and they were his family. When Liam's father approached him, Liam asked him, "Who are you?" Liam's father said it was him, and told Liam that he had become a big young man. Then Liam asked his father, "Who are you?" again. His father thought that after all this time he wouldn't recognize him because he had also changed and had also grown old. Then Liam asked Amagi about this man. Then Amagi told him it was his father. Then Liam told her that he used to have one of them who threw all his responsibilities and debts on him and ran away. With him were his mother, grandfather, and grandmother. Liam's father assumed he would forget how he would look after more than 40 years, but he was shocked as his father. But Liam didn't remember anything his parents did for him. But his mother told him he was good at joking and asked him if he still kept the doll they brought brought him. Then the grandfather was sad because Liam brought a doll to their first meeting and asked him to get rid of it immediately since he was an adult man. His grandmother thought the same thing and agreed to his grandfather's request. Then Amagi requested to go wait in another room, but Liam asked Amagi to wait with him and asked his family what they wanted from him. Then his father asked him for some of the reward he would get for eliminating the pirates. His mother also told him that the cost of living in the imperial capital was very expensive. Then Liam asked Amagi to make them leave and escort them to the exit door because he didn't have any time to listen to their nonsense, which made his father angry, and he asked him how he talked like this to his parents. He shouted at him, but Liam pointed his sword at his father and told him that everything now belonged to him and he didn't decide to give them any of this. He asked them to go now, and they left immediately. He asked Amagi if he was obligated to pay their debts again, but Amagi thought he wasn't obligated to pay them, but she thought that traders and debt collectors would come to him to collect them. Then Amagi suggested reconsidering their allowances, and it would be better to offer an increase on the condition that they stay out of his life forever, and if they caused a commotion, it might damage his reputation. Then Liam agreed to this, and that he would give them a small amount and asked her to prepare the matter in writing. Then Amagi left, but Liam called her and told her that she was his only family member. The guide was listening to all this and felt very angry and promised Liam that he would never forgive him at all. Then we moved to the room of Liam's parents and grandparents. When they received a letter from Liam to give up contacting him in exchange for increasing their allowances, his grandfather thought all this happened because his parents didn't raise him well. But Liam's father told his father that he didn't do anything for him either. Then the guide intervened with his evil power, which made them start fighting among themselves. Then the grandfather suggested that it was possible to carry out procedures to change the family head, and then all of Liam's assets would belong to them, and that the grandmother would ask one of her acquaintances in the palace to start the paperwork immediately. The father also suggested that they start working on preparing a new heir so they wouldn't make Liam the heir anymore. The mother agreed to this as well, and that she would help him in this to get money for them, but she wondered what they would do with Liam after that. But the father thought that after getting the money, they would be able to hire a large number of hired killers. The guide felt happy and clapped for them to encourage them, then disappeared. After that, the dog appeared as Liam's guide to the truth, then left the room to get Amagi's attention, so she would come to the room. When she approached the room, she heard the words of Liam's father and grandparents and what they were planning for him. Then she left. Then we moved to Amagi's room, where she was watching Liam at his honor festival. Then we moved to the Supreme Counselor, who rejected Liam's family's request to change the family head. The reason was that there were no errors in the papers that made Liam the family head, and he had been ruling the province for more than 40 years, and they didn't provide a sufficient reason to cancel this. Liam's father thought he brought a doll to the palace equipped with that hateful artificial intelligence, and this wasn't the behavior of a real emperor, and the Banfield family shouldn't overlook this purpose. But the Supreme Counselor thought that Liam ruled his province well, revitalized its economy, expelled the pirates, and protected his land and people as well as his possessions. Didn't this make Liam deserve praise? And keeping a doll beside him wasn't a crime punishable by law, and there was a tendency for many people to hate this. Liam's father asked the counselor to reconsider the matter again, but the counselor told him that Liam was fulfilling his obligation to pay taxes that the Banfield family had previously evaded, and he was great and contributed to the Empire's interest, and the Empire placed great hopes on him. But Liam's father told him that they would be paid when Liam was changed too, and they didn't face a problem then. Then the counselor laughed and told him that he wanted to trust someone who had never paid taxes. Then he told him that Liam was greater than him and that he was better than them for the Empire, which shocked Liam's father. Then the counselor warned Liam's father that if he wanted a quiet life, he shouldn't do anything stupid, and if anything happened to Liam, something would happen to all of them too. He asked them to leave if they didn't have any other matters to discuss. When they left, the counselor wondered how Liam was the son of this family. Then the counselor asked, "Is this enough?" Then Amagi appeared and thanked the counselor, but the counselor, in return for rejecting Liam's family's request, would put a reward on defeating these pirates to pay the tax debt. But Amagi thought if they could get a permit to buy a super dreadnought as their reward, that would be enough for them. The counselor told Amagi that if she was offering to buy weapons from an imperial factory in addition to paying taxes they had no hope of collecting before, this was nothing but profit for the Empire. Amagi thought if this meant protecting Count Liam's position, this wasn't a loss for the Banfield family at all. The counselor thought Amagi was very smart because she was an artificial intelligence, and he couldn't believe she brought him such a wasteful deal, and that the family finally had a master who could bring prosperity to the region again, but the rest of the family wanted to consume him all over again. Then Amagi expressed gratitude to the counselor for everything. Then we moved to Liam's room, and Liam didn't understand what kind of party it was supposed to be, and Amagi asked Liam if he was exhausted from daily celebrations, but this made Liam seriously think about parties, and he was shocked when creatures he'd never seen before were presented to him. He saw strange and new shows, and what shocked him most was the bucket party. It was beyond anything he could imagine. He used to mock them, but he was surprised when he saw them. He couldn't believe people could come up with an idea like these buckets. It was interesting, but it was a shock for him. Then Amagi told him she had served him for 40 years, and it was time for her to leave now. And Liam thought she wanted to take some days off. But Amagi explained that she couldn't stay with him anymore because AI is hated in the Empire, and he needs a human by his side, not a doll like her. Liam asked, "What kind of joke is this?" But Amagi wasn't wasn't joking, and Liam had given her the 3 laws for robot maids. First, a robot can't harm its master, and it shouldn't expose its master to harm by ignoring potential dangers. She told him she couldn't ignore that her staying with him put him in danger because it gives those who hate you a weakness to attack. But Liam insisted on Amagi staying by his side, and he ordered it. He told her the 3rd law was that robots must obey their master's orders. He told her she would do what he ordered, but Amagi had another opinion. She must obey his orders, but only if they don't conflict with the 1st law, and she couldn't obey this order if it put him in danger. Then she thanked him for everything, saying he treated her like a human when everyone else hated dolls. And this made her very happy and very lucky, and she asked him to grant her wish to be away from him. But Liam got very angry and asked if she could protect her feelings. He asked if her heart truly agreed to this. He wondered why she wanted to be away from him when she was AI and couldn't properly analyze feelings. But after she decided to leave him, her processor overloaded, and she cried and became abnormally hot. Liam saw that she couldn't protect her feelings. Then he told her that if she left him, he'd drown himself in drink every night. He'd ruin himself, lose all his money and relationships, and might even collapse or die at any time. And pirates might even come to kill him. He asked if she was okay exposing her master to this kind of danger, but she couldn't do that and put her master in danger, as that would go against her 1st law. Then he told her it was an order from him not to ignore the danger of him drowning himself in drink all night and not put him at risk of ruin and death. Then Amagi obeyed Liam's orders, and she wouldn't ever do that. Then he went to her and told her he could never abandon her. They had been together forever, but Brian was also with him, though Brian was very different to Liam. Then she told him she would serve him to the best of her ability.